So getting Anthony Ryder from South Lyon, Michigan, recently selected as the Lions 2020 Fan of the Year. He has a passion about sports broadcasting.
With the 112th selection in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver, USC. What pride, baby! Yeah!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another game day live stream. The Detroit Lions today are set to take on the Atlanta Falcons. And, obviously this game is set to kick off in just a couple of minutes. But before we get into that, first we will look at the injury report. The Detroit Lions currently have 5 players inactive for this game, the first of which is safety Jalen Elliott. Jalen Elliott is a second-year safety out of Notre Dame. He's a player that, has started a couple of games for the Detroit Lions, a player that has made some big plays, especially on special teams for the Detroit Lions, but has never really been a huge starting role for the Lions. But as a special teamer, it is quite a big loss. Rookie running back Jermar Jefferson is also a healthy scratch for this week. He's not injured. He's not, dealing with anything right now, as of my knowledge, at least. He just is a healthy scratch for this game, which, he kind of has been for the last couple of games because the Lions just seemingly refuse to use him. Julian Okwara will miss his 4th game in a row at the outside linebacker position with the ankle injury that he is suffering with and the ankle injury that he is battling. DeAndre Swift will miss another game as well, as he is still dealing with that shoulder injury. Both Julian Okwara and DeAndre Swift were limited at practice for a majority of the week. So they're getting closer to returning to game shape. They're getting closer to returning to the NFL games, but they do still need another week or two of recovery until they reach that point. And then linebacker Josh Woods is also not available for this game. And after he played really well in the Denver game and after the loss of Alex Anzalone, this may end up being a little bit of a bigger loss than obviously if Alex Anzalone was healthy. Josh Woods is a depth linebacker. I believe he is the 4th or 5th linebacker on the depth chart. But with Alex Anzalone not playing and Jalen Reeves-Maybin not being 100% today, Josh Woods may have gotten some playing time and may have had to make some impact plays. Now, with that being said, of course, with the injury report that you all saw this morning in the game day preview, that does mean that Jonah Jackson, the starting left guard, is playing in this game. That does mean that starting linebacker Jalen Reeves-Maybin will be playing in this game after he was on the injury report. That does mean that there are a couple other players that are bigger names, like Josh Reynolds is still playing. Khalif Raymond is active for this game. So our wide receiver core is 100% healthy as of right now, obviously with the exception of the guys that had no chance of playing, like Quintez Cephas and players on the injury reserve. But, obviously our receiving core is pretty healthy this week, and the Detroit Lions are welcoming back Jamal Williams, the running back, who will, I believe, make the start in this game and will split carries with Craig Reynolds. Jamal Williams will split carries with Craig Reynolds, and hopefully they both do really well. Jamal Williams brings a lot of energy to this Lions team. Obviously he's kind of been a bell cow for the Lions for a lot of the season. I believe he leads the team in carries, and if not, he is second and very close to DeAndre Swift in that category. But overall, he just brings energy to the field. He brings that factor of just enjoying your game, enjoying the fun parts and fun aspects of being, Detroit Lions, and brings you kind of that aspect of, just having fun on the field. He brings that work hard mentality. He is the guy that, just kind of has it all together. And he's the guy that really adds energy to this Detroit Lions locker room when he is on the field and when he is back with his teammates. Now, he's missed the last couple of weeks, unfortunately, due to being put on the COVID list and testing positive for COVID-19. It's, obviously very unfortunate for that, but he is back and healthy today, and the Lions will need a stable running game, especially not knowing who the quarterback is. Now, I haven't seen who the starting quarterback is going to be for the Detroit Lions at this point. I haven't seen if it's Tim Boyle or David Blau yet. I'm hoping, obviously, that it is David Blau instead of Tim Boyle, but at this point, I have not heard official news one way or the other. So we are going to find out as soon as this game gets kicked off, as I just edit the title really, really quickly and save the changes. Maybe that'll get a couple more people in here as the Detroit Lions are set to kick off right now. It is 1 o'clock. The Lions play the Falcons at 1, and the game should be kicking off any minute. But going into this game as of right now, just before the kickoff officially begins, I think the Detroit Lions have a really good shot in this game, right? They are coming off a huge win with a lot of momentum. They're 2-1 in their last 3 weeks of play, with the only loss coming to a playoff caliber Denver team, a 500 caliber Denver team that, the Lions played against without a lot of their star power, right? A lot of their defense, they played pretty much their entire backups on defense for the entirety of that game. And they were in the game for a solid half or two. They were in the game for until about halftime, midway through the third quarter. And then, the talent deficit really showed up, and the talent deficit kind of just, was too much for the Detroit Lions to overcome. But the Lions don't have that same problem as of right now. Now, they are facing a lot of injuries as starting cornerback Amani Oruwariye is not playing in this game. Neither is starting quarterback Jared Goff. Julian Okwara, the starter, is not playing. DeAndre Swift isn't playing. Alex Anzalone isn't playing either. But they do still have some good talent in the secondary. Ifeatu Melifonwu will have to step up very big this week in the absence of Amani Oruwariye. I believe Ifeatu is our best remaining cornerback on the active roster as of right now. And unfortunately, actually, Amani will not finish the season on the active roster as he was officially placed on injured reserves yesterday. So his season is officially done for the Detroit Lions. He finished it with 6 interceptions and so many big plays made for this Lions defense. We know how good Amani Oruwariye is. He deserves a good rest. And at this point in the season, he showed exactly what he needed to show. He has nothing left to prove. And even if it's not the most significant injury in the world, I kind of like that the Detroit Lions are kind of taking it slow with Amani, just letting him rest, letting him recover in the offseason so that he doesn't re-injure something or obviously make the injury worse and make it more long-term. Same thing with Alex Anzalone. They said it wasn't a major injury, but the injury was significant enough to where they wanted to shut him down for the remainder of the season. Both Alex Anzalone and Amani Oruwariye will not return to the Lions active roster this season. The Lions are set to kick off in just a minute. Dan Campbell, 2 wins in the last 3 games after an incredibly rough start. It doesn't matter how you start, though. It's how you finish. Arthur Smith and the Atlanta Falcons are Arthur Smith and the Atlanta Falcons are 0-5 at home. They're 5-3 on the road, and apparently they're 1-0 in London this year as well. Dr. Detroit's in the building. How are you doing today? I'd assume that means F for first pick. And I do have a mock draft coming your way at halftime, just like we did last week with updated placements in the draft order for the Detroit Lions. And this one I was really excited about and really happy with, as the Detroit Lions on the opening kickoff stop Cordero Patterson at the 20-yard line for a minimal return and giving the defense some pretty good positioning on the opening drive as they take the field. But hang on one second. Let me switch this over to the Gamecast. And the Detroit Lions, Matt Ryan rolls out on a bootleg on the first play and is sacked by Derek Barnes, of all players. Derek Barnes, the 4th-round rookie out of Purdue. Just again, Matt Ryan was kind of scrambling out, had a really good play, and Derek Barnes read it extremely well, got out to the edge and made a really good tackle on Matt Ryan for, I don't know if it's a tackle for loss or a sack. I guess it doesn't show up as a sack on the stat sheet, so it must have just been a tackle for loss since Matt Ryan was out of the pocket. But regardless, it doesn't matter. As on 2nd and 10, Matt Ryan throws a check down to Cordero Patterson, and who else other than Charles Harris comes up to make the big play for the Detroit Lions. They're making some substitutions, getting their third down defense on the field. AJ Parker's out there, Charles Harris is out there, and unfortunately on 3rd and 11, the Detroit Lions give up a 12-yard pass to Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, in my opinion, is going to be the big X factor in this game. Kyle Pitts is going to be the guy that the Lions have to cover. They have to shut down Kyle Pitts because he is their only true receiving weapon. The Lions really didn't get a lot of pressure. That was a really good throw by Matt Ryan to sneak it in a very tight window and a lot of heavy traffic. Kyle Pitts, with the reliable hands and the reliable catching in traffic ability, made the catch for the first down. It does look like Ifeatu is starting at the boundary cornerback position alongside Will Harris, actually, also playing on the outside. And then you have, of course, AJ Parker on the slot, and Dean Marlowe and Tracy Walker as your starting safeties this week, with Derek Barnes and Jalen Reeves-Maybin starting as your first 2 linebackers, as Jalen Reeves-Maybin makes the tackle on 1st and 10 for a minimal 3-yard pickup by Mike Davis. Now, Aleem McNeil is also starting this game. The starting defensive line is Michael Brockers, Aleem McNeil, and Nick Williams. But of course, those have been, kind of switched around a lot. Your starting linebackers are on the inside, Jalen Reeves-Maybin and Derek Barnes. On the outside, it's Charles Harris and Austin Bryant. And your secondary, I mentioned, is Ifeatu and Will Harris on the boundary, AJ Parker in the slot with Tracy Walker and Dean Marlowe on the boundary. And Aleem McNeil gets his second sack of his career on 2nd and 7, just absolutely powered his way into the backfield, used that power, used that momentum and that lower body strength that he was famous for at NC State to just drive the offensive guard into the backfield, and got a really good tackle for loss got a really good sack on Matt Ryan, just showing really good power, even pretty good finesse, getting around the right guard and getting his second career sack on Matt Ryan. And then on 3rd down, the Detroit Lions yet again gets a sack as Austin Bryant gets his second sack of his season and the second sack of his young career. Austin Bryant's been a player that for a lot of his career, for the first couple of years, has been extremely injury prone, but this year being on the field a lot does seem to be making quite a few plays. The Lions have 2 sacks on the opening drive defensively, and they are going to be getting the ball back after forcing a 4th and 15 at the Atlanta Falcons 27. Now, the Detroit Lions this year haven't had the greatest pass rush, but Austin Bryant has shown some flashes. Obviously, Charles Harris has shown a lot of flashes, having a sack and a half last week, 3 tackles for loss. Derek Barnes had a really good tackle for loss here, and the Lions open up this drive, open up their first series as a defense, bringing a lot of pressure on Matt Ryan, forcing the Atlanta Falcons offensive line to hold up. And so far, they haven't done a great job, allowing 2 sacks in the first 6 plays. Khalif Raymond is on the return, has some space in the middle, and is down and is tackled at the 38-yard line. The Lions will take the field at their own 38, giving the offense some really, really good field position as they welcome back Jamal Williams and Craig Reynolds on the ground. Now, we're going to see right here, we're going to find out who the starting quarterback is. I'm not sure if it was announced and I just didn't see it, or if it simply is a game time decision and nobody knows. I'm hoping in David Blau. I'm hoping to see number 10 in Honolulu Blue take the field, because he is officially active this week, obviously being now either the starter or the backup, but I would expect number 12, Tim Boyle, to take the field. Now that opening drive for the Detroit Lions was very impressive. They got a tackle for loss early with Derek Barnes. They got 2 tackles for loss on the first 2 plays, as Charles Harris got the second one on a screen pass or a check down route to Cordero Patterson. They gave up the 13 or the 12-yard pass to Kyle Pitts, and then they got back-to-back sacks after a very minimally run on 1st down by the Atlanta Falcons. Really good defensive series for the Lions. They're getting a lot of pressure early. They're forcing checkdowns, and they are rallying to the ball and tackling very well early in the game. I know it's just the first drive. I know the Lions still have a lot left to do, and they have a long way to go to win this football game, but defensively, especially on the opening drive, I really like Aaron Glenn's game plan to bring pressure, to send bodies at the line of scrimmage, and to get pressure on Matt Ryan, especially since the Atlanta Falcons offensive line is not one of the better units in the NFL. They don't really have a star tackle. They don't really have a star player on that offensive line at this point. And the Lions defensive line doesn't have that alpha. But if you get them matched up one-on-one, Charles Harris is going to win more times than not. Austin Bryant's going to win a fair amount of battles. And obviously, as we just saw, Aleem McNeil with that power at nose tackle is going to penetrate the pocket and is going to make your quarterback extremely uncomfortable if he's matched up in one-on-one situations. Aleem has been a very quiet rookie for the Detroit Lions. He's been a guy that doesn't have flashy numbers, doesn't have flashy statistics, and is constantly being double teamed because of his power and lower center of gravity. He's just an incredibly tough player to drive off the ball, and that's part of the reason the Lions drafted him alongside Levi Onwuzurike this season and in this past draft, is because those are guys that penetrate the pocket. Those are guys that are extremely hard to move off the ball, and they just sit there and they anchor that defensive line. They draw that double team. They draw those double teams even sometimes, and that leaves players like your linebackers, that leaves players like even your safety sometimes to shoot gaps and to get free rushes on the quarterback and free shots at running backs in the hole. Now, Tim Boyle is making his second career start today. Did not look very impressive in his first start versus the Cleveland Browns. Hopefully this goes a little better, as on his first play, he does actually deliver a pretty clean ball to Josh Reynolds, who runs a little bit after the catch, picking up 13 yards on the first reception of the game. Tim Boyle already about a seventh of the way to his passing yards versus Cleveland. Last time he started a game for the Lions, I believe he was like 25 of 30 something and only threw for 77 yards and threw for 2 interceptions. He's already, more than a seventh of the way there at this point. We'll see what happens on second down, as it is a check down to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who breaks the tackle and does get back to the line of scrimmage, if not picking up a yard on the play, but a very minimal gain, if any, on the day. Jamal Williams is checking in for Godwin Igwebuike, and it looks like probably Jamal Williams will get his first carry in his return to the Detroit Lions. I do believe Craig Reynolds is also in the lineup as well. They have a 2-back system right now with Jamal Williams and Craig Reynolds. They will be splitting carries today, but instead of giving it to either of the running backs, the Lions decided to go with a fullback dive, and it actually picks up 4 yards on the play. Or not a fullback dive, actually. It's a pass out to the fullback in Jason Kabinda, who picks up, it looks like 6 yards. It looked a little bit more than 4, but it says the Lions are now at the Atlanta Falcons 45 on third down with 6 yards to go. Now, the Atlanta Falcons starting defense today is Grady Jarrett, Taquan Graham, and Jonathan Bullard on the defensive line. Their linebackers are Dante Fowler Jr., Deion Jones, Foyle Oluwakan, and Steven Means. And in their secondary, the standout cornerback in A.J. Terrell, Jalen Hawkins, Duron Harmon, and Fabi Moreau. Not a super talented defense, not a lot of star power on the defense, as the Detroit Lions on 3rd and 6 pick up a first down thanks to the arm of Tim Boyle. The pass was a little bit low, but Amon-Ra St. Brown, being the really talented wide receiver and young stud that he is able to go down and make the catch and actually break a little bit of a tackle to drive for that first down. The offensive line is giving Tim Boyle a really good, very clean pocket. And if Tim Boyle is allowed a really clean pocket for a lot of the game, I think he can make some throws down the field. He does have a big arm, does have some arm talent, is on first down and 10. The Lions run it, and Jamal Williams does officially get his first carry back from the COVID reserve and picks up 2 yards on the carry. But, the Lions, as far as blocking today, look really good. Even on that run block, if Jamal Williams got out to the edge a little bit faster, he could have got to the edge and got a much larger gain, but it was a really good tackle in open space by Deion Jones. DeAndre Swift is missing his 4th game in a row with a shoulder injury. He is traveling with the team this week and should be expected to play next week, as he was doing things in practice all week. Hopefully he's able to return, and hopefully he's able to help the Detroit Lions get another victory on the season. But for today, he is sidelined. And on 2nd and 8 at the Atlanta Falcons 35-yard line, the Detroit Lions end up picking up 7 yards on a really tricky flip pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who on his 3rd reception in the game picks up 7 yards, bringing up 3rd and 1 for the Detroit Lions. Now I want to see Craig Reynolds get his I think it was a run play even. I think they handed it to Amon-Ra St. Brown, getting his 2nd rush on the season after playing a little bit of running back in the past couple of weeks. Amon-Ra's just kind of been a gadget player for the Detroit Lions. He's been a really good wide receiver, has helped in the run game a little bit. And on 3rd and 1, there is, I believe, a neutral zone infraction penalty on Grady Jarrett, granting the Lions a brand new set of first downs. Now, I don't know what this play would have been, as Grady Jarrett does jump off sides, so we will never know. Does even actually make contact with the quarterback, which is not something that you want to see out of your offensive line. But now the Lions get a fresh set of downs at the Atlanta Falcons 23. And so far, this drive is looking really solid. They're at 6 plays and 39 yards, taking up 3 minutes and 55 seconds off the clock already. I mean, they're being a really methodical offense. And Jonah Jackson says, "You're not going to touch my quarterback like that," and pretty much throws Grady Jarrett to the ground after that neutral zone infraction. And on 1st and 10, they give Jamal Williams the ball, who picks up another hard-fought yard for this offense. But so far, 7 plays, 40 yards, 4 minutes and 30 seconds taken up off the clock. They look like a methodical offense. They're moving really well. They're blocking really well. Even Tim Boyle looks to be fairly comfortable in this offensive system this week, and the offensive line is fully healthy with the exception of Frank Ragnow. And you would expect, and like we expected in the preseason and before this season began, the offensive line is playing like a top unit in the NFL. They're giving Tim Boyle a ton of time. I'd like to see Craig Reynolds get a couple of carries because I think he has a little bit more big play ability than Jamal Williams. And hopefully Craig Reynolds does split some carries here soon and does get some touches on the football. But this offensive line is extremely powerful. They are pushing the defensive line forward. They are, right now winning their matchups versus the Atlanta Falcons. And unfortunately, on 2nd and 9, they do have a check down, or it looks like a tight end screen even, to Brock Wright, but it is read very well by number 51 of the Atlanta Falcons. And Brock Wright, the undrafted rookie tight end, is unfortunately dropped for a 3-yard loss after his first reception. Brock Wright catching his first NFL touchdown against the Minnesota Vikings a couple of weeks ago in the Lions' first victory on the season. And with the absence of TJ Hockenson for the remainder of the season, they have been relying on Brock Wright more and more each and every week to kind of step up and be that TJ Hockenson replacement. And I think he can do it. He's a really good blocker, has some solid hands for a tight end. And on 3rd and long, 3rd and 12 for the Detroit Lions, Tim Boyle in a clean pocket delivers a really good strike across the middle to Amon-Ra St. Brown to pick up the first down and pick up 13 yards on the play. Amon-Ra actually on a really good out route. I don't know what the flag is going to be on. Oh, it's an offsides call. So it was a free play anyway. The Detroit Lions are going to decline this penalty as Amon-Ra St. Brown runs a really clean route. Tim Boyle delivers a really good ball, very catchable football on the boundary. And, Amon-Ra St. Brown stretches for the first down and extends this drive again for the Detroit Lions. The Lions are about to take their 10th play of this drive, and they do, picking up 3 more yards on a run from Jamal Williams. And overall, this is kind of what the offense looked like last week, right? Where they're not getting any huge chunk plays necessarily, but they're just converting really well. They're staying in front of the chains, and they are just being a methodical, safe, and very consistent offense. As on 1st and 10, Jamal Williams does get the ball, runs right up the middle, and picks up a very hard-fought 3 yards to put the Lions ahead of the chains, put the Lions right on where they want to be with the, as far as, down and distance and stuff like that. And on the opening drive, the Detroit Lions last week went 15 plays for 63 yards and took up 8 minutes and 50 seconds of possession, which is their longest drive since 2005. And this week, the Lions on their 12th play have already taken up almost 7 minutes of the game clock as the first quarter is about to expire, with really neither defense really being put through that much, right? Each offense has only seen the field once, as Jamal Williams on another 2-yard carry brings up 3rd and 5 for the Detroit Lions. And I think this is what the Lions were supposed to do all season. They were supposed to be methodical. They were supposed to drive. They were supposed to chew up clock so the defense had an opportunity to stay out the field and to, get pressure, but obviously stay fresh. And unfortunately, on 3rd down and 5 at the Atlanta Falcons 8-yard line, Tim Boyle misses his first pass of the day, targeted towards Josh Reynolds, and the Detroit Lions will stall out in this first drive. But they are well within Riley Patterson's field goal range and should be able to kick a very realistic field goal to take the lead early. Now, it looks like Amon-Ra St. Brown was actually open for a touchdown, came open late on kind of a dig route. I've created some created some contact with the DB and then broke inside. Looked like he had a little bit of separation, but by the time Amon-Ra came open, Josh Reynolds was already being targeted on the play, and the ball had already left Tim Boyle's hands. If Tim Boyle waits another second or two, it's a touchdown easy for Amon-Ra St. Brown. But Riley Patterson continues his perfect season, putting through an easy field goal for the Detroit Lions, making his 16th kick in a row for the Lions and his 8th field goal on the season to help the Detroit Lions take the lead 3-0 as the first quarter is very nearly expiring. Now, this is how the Lions started their drive last week with an 8-minute, 50-second drive. The Lions' drive this week wasn't quite as long and methodical, but they took up a majority of the first quarter. And the Lions started last week with, again, a really solid drive that stalled out in the red zone. And unfortunately, and the only unfortunate thing you could say for that game, the Lions only scored 3 points in the first quarter versus a very potent Arizona Cardinals offense. And it looked like, they weren't going to be able to score again. But in the second quarter, they got 2 back-to-back touchdowns on big plays from both Amon-Ra St. Brown and Josh Reynolds. So, the offense looked pretty good. Tim Boyle on his first drive was 6 for 7 for 34 yards, already looking much better than he did against the Cleveland Browns. Jamal Williams, 4 carries for 8 yards. He's not really going to be a high yards per carry kind of a guy, but I'd like to see it go up a little bit. Amon-Ra on his first drive got 3 receptions for 20 yards. He is, not on pace for 100 yards, but at this point, you never know. Amon-Ra St. Brown last week had 7 receptions for 70 yards in the first half, and he's been a gadget player for the Lions. He has 5 touches for, I think, maybe 30-ish yards for the Lions as of right now, and it's just, been playing really, really well. The Atlanta Falcons will take the field for the second time in just a few moments, but opening that first drive defensively and offensively, the Lions looked like a really good team as the Atlanta Falcons opened with a 66% chance to win the game, and as of right now, they are at about a 56. So the Lions take the lead early, I guess late in the first quarter, but early in the football game, and we're going to see if they can do what they did last week, and that is put pressure on the quarterback, have a really good defensive standing against a really mediocre Atlanta Falcons offense, and overall just, hold the offense to limited points so that our offense doesn't have to do too much to win this football game. I think if the Lions can hold the Atlanta Falcons under 20 points, under 17 points for this game like they've done, I think 4 or 5 of the last 7 games, they have a really, really good shot of winning this football game. And obviously, if you score points on your opening drive, that's a good way to start the football game. And the Lions did that, right? They didn't score their touchdown early. They weren't quite able to get the ball in the end zone, but at the end of the day, the Lions scored points on their first drive, and that is all you can really ask for out of your offense is to score points every single drive. Now, Riley Patterson is now 8 for 8 on field goals this season, the longest streak to start a Lions career in the last 50 years, and passes Eddie Murray for that record. Now, Jack Fox kicks off and actually kicks it out of the back of the end zone for no return by the Atlanta Falcons. And Matt Ryan, Kyle Pitts, and that Atlanta Falcons offense is once again taking the field for their second drive of the day. Now, I want to see the same thing on the second drive from the Detroit Lions. I want to see people. I want to see bodies around the box. I want to see blitzing linebackers. I want to see blitzing safeties. I want to see some chaos in the box. And I want to see the Lions continue to win their pass rushing battles. I want Charles Harris to get a sack. I want, Austin Bryant to put more pressure. I want Aleem McNeil to continue to penetrate the pocket just like he did on the first drive. Even John Pennicini is out there. And again, the Lions on their first play of the drive give up a 1 or 2 yard carry to Cordero Patterson, but they tackle really well. They rallied to the football, didn't give a lot of space, and didn't give a huge open hole for Cordero Patterson to explode through. And the Lions now have the Falcons behind the chains at 2nd and 8. And on 2nd and 8, they hold them to just 2 yards again, bring up a 3rd and 6 opportunity for the Atlanta Falcons at their own 29-yard line. Now, I believe Cordero Patterson gets another carry after this, but I will see. Right now, I am watching the 2nd and 8. As it is actually another toss to Cordero Patterson, and Cordero Patterson will pick up 2 yards, get up to the Atlanta Falcons 29, bringing up 3rd and 6 for the Falcons offense. And the Lions right now defensively are looking really, really good as the LA Rams scored their first touchdown of the game, taking a 7-0 lead over the Minnesota Vikings. I didn't see exactly who scored the touchdown, but it was one of the Rams running backs. And the Los Angeles Rams will clinch a playoff playoff berth with a win or a tie over the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Matt Ryan on 3rd and 6 has number 81, the tight end, in motion, gets the pass, drops back. There is pressure by Jalen Reeves-Maybin, and the pass is batted incomplete by who else than A.J. Parker, the undrafted free agent wonder. The guy that, was undrafted, was underestimated all offseason, but has come back from injury, has showed up big for the Detroit Lions. He breaks on the football extremely well and actually has a really good pass deflection, bringing up 4th and 6 and getting the Lions the football right back. He dove for that, almost got a second hand on it to intercept it, but there was no chance of that ball being completed. And A.J. Parker has been one of the bright spots for the Detroit Lions defense this year. And the secondary as a whole has really been a bright spot for the Lions. Yes, their pass rush hasn't been great. Yes, a lot of their things in the offense and a lot of their things in the defense haven't been phenomenal for the Lions this year. But one of the things that I think the Lions can be extremely proud of is their secondary. Amani Oruwariye is 3rd in the NFL in interceptions. Jerry Jacobs, the undrafted rookie, stood up and made a lot of big plays. A.J. Parker's made a lot of big plays. Ifeatu Melifonwu has looked really good early in his young career. You got guys like Will Harris, who's looked a lot better. Tracy Walker, who's looked very good. There is a penalty on the Detroit Lions. It's an illegal formation on the kicking team, and that penalty is declined. And the Lions will get the ball back at their own 10-yard line, I suppose. So the Lions offense takes the field yet again. Craig Reynolds, I believe, is yet to receive a carry on the day. I would like to see Craig Reynolds get his first carry because of just the standout performance he had a few weeks ago. But yet again, the Lions defense stands strong on their second drive. They didn't get that sack. They didn't get that big negative play to set the Cardinals or to set the Falcons behind the chains. But what they did do is they kept the football in front of them. They tackled well. They rallied to the football. They had really good technique, and they're playing as a team right now, rallying and tackling extremely well. And with that being the case, they're not allowing big plays by the Falcons. They had 2 rushing attempts for 2 yards each to open up that drive. The Lions rallied to the football, and on 3rd down, when Matt Ryan was empty in the backfield, they sent pressure. Jalen Reeves-Maybin got pressure on the quarterback, forced Matt Ryan to slide out to his right and throw an incomplete pass after a really great diving effort by A.J. Parker to make sure that pass was incomplete and to bat that ball into the turf. This Lions defense is playing extremely hard. They're playing very fast. And the Lions can do what they did on the first drive, right? Be methodical, be consistent. If Tim Boyle, again, can go 6 for 7 for 30-something yards, hopefully a little bit more than 30, but if he can go 6 for 7 again with a high completion percentage, then I think the Lions can score some more points and put more points on the board, getting, obviously, and improving and increasing their lead on the Atlanta Falcons. Now, unfortunately, we don't quite seem to have the numbers today for this game like we did last week versus the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if people are just tired of the Lions, if they're just tired of me, but we're here to stream nonetheless. And regardless of if we have 1 viewer or 70 viewers like last week, we are going to be here through it all, whether the Lions win or lose, whether they're playing their best football or their worst football. I'm going to be here for all of it. And right now, the Lions are playing some pretty good football. So I hope to see some more people in here. I hope to see some more people joining the stream. But if it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. I appreciate everybody that shows up and is here to talk some Lions football. Now, as of right now, the Lions are currently leading 3-0 after a really lengthy opening drive, taking up a majority of the first quarter for the Detroit Lions. They weren't quite able to convert in the red zone, settling for a Riley Patterson field goal, but the Lions get the ball back, and on their first play, Craig Reynolds does get his first carry and picks up 3 yards for the Detroit Lions, bringing up a 2nd and 7 at their own 13. Now, Craig Reynolds has been one of the surprises of the season, showed out in the first preseason game versus the Buffalo Bills, and didn't really get an opportunity in the regular season until Denver, and all those injuries going into Denver, forced Craig Reynolds into a starting role in which he took full advantage. Craig Reynolds had 100-plus scrimmage yards in both of his first 2 starts for the Lions. He had 100 scrimmage yards against Denver, and then he had 100 rushing yards on 28 carries versus the Arizona Cardinals a week ago. And the Lions on opening drives in the past 2 weeks have been phenomenal. Against Arizona, 15 plays, 63 yards, and 8 minutes off the clock, almost 9. And this week, I believe they had 11 plays for 650 off the clock, and again, settling for a field goal. Now on 2nd and 7, looks like they are going to hand the ball, or actually pass a second pass to Jason Cabinda, who makes a very acrobatic catch, but is only able to pick up minimal yardage, bringing up 3rd and 5 at the Detroit Lions 15-yard line. Jason Cabinda is a little slow to get up off the turf, had to fully extend for that football, and maybe had the wind knocked out of him just a little bit. He will come off the field and will be subbed out. Tim Boyle, I'd like to see some more shots down the field. I mean, you saw that really good pass across the middle to Amon-Ra St. Brown earlier. I mean, he's had some good plays. You've seen Tim Boyle go deep a couple of times as Jason Cabinda is now laying down on the field, looking like maybe he just extended a little too far to bring in that pass from Tim Boyle. Hopefully he's okay. He got up and didn't look like he was in too much pain, but obviously now that he's on the field, I don't know the injury. It just looked like maybe he just extended a little too far and had the wind knocked out of him, but he was sitting on the field and they were looking at his left leg. So maybe he extended something a little too far when he shouldn't have. I'm not entirely sure, but I will update you with the injury news as soon as I hear something or as soon as I see something on the injury to starting fullback Jason Cabinda. Now, the Lions sit at a 3rd and 5 situation, and I know that, throughout the week we've been talking about how we don't want Tim Boyle to start. We don't want Tim Boyle to, be the one to throw a lot in this game, but I think on 3rd and 5, I think you trust Tim Boyle here. It's kind of a long ways to go when you are running the football, and I know that Craig Reynolds averaged, I think, 6.8 yards per carry last week, and I know that Jamal Williams has broken off quite a few really good, not super long runs, but, 10, 15-yard pickups here and there when he gets a really good open hole. But for me, I think you put the ball in Tim Boyle's hands here. I think everybody's expecting you to run the ball and try to pick this up. That's the conservative thing to do. And I think the Lions go against the grain here. I think they go with an aggressive approach, maybe not a deep shot or even an intermediate shot, 15, 20 yards down the field. But I think, something right at the sticks, a crossing route from Amon-Ra St. Brown, an option route from Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let him beat his player. Let him be better than the guy across from him. And you just, as Tim Boyle, you trust 14 to go out and make a play for you. And I think if they do that, give Amon-Ra St. Brown an opportunity to beat his guy one-on-one, you're going to pick up this first down and probably a lot more yardage. And I'm not, saying, we're going to need to go to 14 every time. But as of right now, over the past couple of weeks, St. Brown has been stepping up and has been the number one weapon for the Detroit Lions. And just his route running ability, just him being really shifty in the slot and him being really, just hard to tackle and hard to stick with as a defensive back on short yardage situations or medium yardage situations like this. That is the kind of guy that you'd want to go to, a guy that can create that separation, a guy that can get wide open on a crossing route, get wide open on an option route, maybe even an outside, you run up and you run out to the sidelines, whatever that would be, an out route, whatever, you run something to create some separation for Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you let him get the ball and use his yak ability to get the first down. Jason Cabinda is walking with a slight limp as they are checking out his knee right now. And Tim Boyle on 3rd and 5 will take the football, it seems like. Tim Boyle on 3rd and 5. The snap is away. Tim Boyle drops back, is looking, does throw it across the middle to a pretty wide open Josh Reynolds, but the pressure did force the incompletion. If Tim Boyle was able to push the ball a little bit more inside, Josh Reynolds would have had an opportunity to make a play pretty much uncontested, but Tim Boyle did throw the pass behind Josh Reynolds, and he was not able to adjust quick enough to the ball. Again, Amon-Ra St. Brown was kind of open. It would have been a really tight window. I think Tim Boyle made the right read there. He just wasn't quite able to hit the right throw, as Jack Fox will punt this football away for the first time in the football game. Jack Fox standing on the edge of his own end zone, averaging 49.3 yards per punt in the NFL this season, and he gets a pretty good kick away. From his end zone to about the Atlanta Falcons 32, and then there's a slight return before 35 is tackled by number 27, Bobby Price, the second-year cornerback out of Norfolk State. Bobby Price, a player that started a couple of games for the Lions, wasn't quite able to adjust well at corner, wasn't quite a player that was able to keep a starting spot at cornerback, but has been a huge special teams contributor for, a majority of the season. And the Lions and the Falcons, as they show on the TV, always seems to come down to an improbable ending. The second attempt on the field goal in 2000 or like 2015 or something, where Matt Prater missed it, but the Falcons were off sides and they kicked again and Matt Prater hit it. The one down, the run off the clock against Golden Tate when the Lions took on the Falcons at home in 2018. You have obviously the Matthew Stafford game where, on the last play of the game, as time expired, Matthew Stafford rolled out of the pocket and threw a dart right to TJ Hawkinson to win that football game. This game between the Falcons and the Lions always seems to come down to the wire. And as of right now, it seems like that's the way this game's going to go too. The Lions and the Falcons finished their first quarter of play with the Lions going into the second quarter leading by a score of 3-0. First quarter statistics look like this. Tim Boyle is 7 of 9 for 36, averaging just 4 yards per pass attempt. I'd like to see some deeper passes, especially with the strength of Tim Boyle's arm. I think that's the reason Tim Boyle is starting, because of his arm talent, but he's not showing it right now. The Lions aren't really giving him that opportunity to show off what he can do in the air with the football, and I'd like to see the Lions give Tim Boyle some opportunities down the field. Maybe you take a shot to Craig Reynolds, or maybe you take a shot to Josh Reynolds. Maybe you take a shot to Amon-Ra St. Brown down the field. I'm not entirely sure where you'd want to take those shots, but I'd like to see some deeper passing concepts down the field in the second quarter and the second half. Jamal Williams has the most carries on the day with 4 carries for 8 yards, just averaging 2 yards per carry, but getting some tough yardage and some hard-fought yardage nonetheless. Amon-Ra St. Brown has 1 carry on the day for 7 yards on kind of that really tricky, almost like touch pass kind of thing where the running back and the quarterback were going one way. Amon-Ra St. Brown was going against the way of the blocking. The defense obviously followed the majority, and Amon-Ra St. Brown was able to pick up a really nice first down off that 7-yard carry. And then Craig Reynolds only has 1 carry this game, but does have 3 yards. And again, last week after his production, you got to give Craig Reynolds the ball a little bit more than 1 time a quarter. Amon-Ra St. Brown right now is your leading wide receiver with 3 receptions for 20 yards, averaging 6.7 yards per catch, 3 targets and 3 receptions. Can't ask for more out of St. Brown. Josh Reynolds on 3 targets only has 1 reception, but is averaging 13 yards in that reception. And of course, the last target that he just had on that third down play wasn't really his fault that he didn't catch it. It just was a poor pass behind him. Jason Kabinda, unfortunately, did leave the game with a supposed knee injury, but before that had 2 receptions for 6 yards. And then Brock Wright on that failed screen pass did lose 3 yards on his first and only reception. As of right now, the Lions have 3 tackles for loss, with Austin Bryant, Derek Barnes, and Aleem McNeil both having 1. They also have 3 sacks in the first half, with Derek Barnes, Aleem McNeil, and Austin Bryant, again, all having those sacks. AJ Parker is the only pass defended today, and the defense is looking really good despite giving up a 9-yard reception on the first play. Khalif Raymond has 1 return for 19 yards, as the Arizona Cardinals, I believe, pick up the first down on that play, and they do. And I will get back in just a second, but Riley Patterson is 1 for 1, 100% on field goals, and Jack Fox hit a 52-yard punt to, give the Lions not favorable field position, but much better field position than they otherwise would have had. Now, the screen says halftime. It is not halftime for the Atlanta Falcons. As on 1st and 10 at the Detroit Lions 43-yard line, Matt Ryan has a play action and is going deep down the field and finds number 14 on the long reception. Just kind of found a hole in the zone defense for the Detroit Lions, and it looks like the Falcons are going to run a little bit of hurry up after that big play, and it is now 1st and 10 at the Lions 27, and on that first down, they run the football with Mike Davis for a 2-yard carry, bringing up 2nd and 8 at the Lions' 25-yard line. Now, the Atlanta Falcons obviously do still have some big play threats. I'd say Cordero Patterson's a big play threat. He's had a couple weeks where he's just really been a dominant running back and a dominant NFL player overall. Kyle Pitts is a Pro Bowl tight end now, was just recently voted to the Pro Bowl last weekend. And then, of course, you have some speedy wide receivers like Russell Gage on the outside that, can make you plays. He's not a dominant wide receiver like Calvin Ridley, but he's by no means a bad wide receiver in the NFL either, as the Atlanta Falcons continue to drive on the Detroit Lions. And on 2nd and 8, the Atlanta Falcons with Matt Ryan in the backfield, the running back next to him, 81, is in motion. Matt Ryan receives the ball from the center, drops back, is looking, fires to number 9 across the middle, and number 9 will pick up the first down for the Detroit Lions, but there is a flag on the field, so hold on to that thought for just a minute. Number 9 is Hall. I wonder if that is Marvin Hall, the former Detroit Lions big play deep threat wide receiver, and we will find out in just a minute. There was illegal hands to the face on the defense of the Detroit Lions. That is officially not called. And it was actually Marvin Hall, the former Detroit Lions, who pick up the first down versus his former team. Marvin Hall was a big play threat for the Detroit Lions when in his time in Detroit. Him and Matthew Stafford had a really good connection deep down the field. And in the 2019 season, when Matthew Stafford was having one of his better seasons and on MVP caliber pace, Marvin Hall averaged, I believe, like 31 yards per reception, which is deep shot after deep shot after deep shot. He was one of the speedier wide receivers on the team. And with Kenny Golladay being the number 1 threat, Marvin Hall was never paid any attention. And Marvin Hall constantly made the defenses play with those big chunk plays. I know in the first game versus the Kansas City Chiefs that he played in 2019, he and Stafford had a couple really nice deep balls where they connected for big plays. I know he had the big play versus Green Bay off the flea flicker that he almost took to the end zone, and a couple other just big time plays. I believe, again, he averaged, I think, 31 yards per reception, which led the NFL in 2019. I really liked Marvin Hall on this team. I wasn't quite sure why the Detroit Lions released him when they did right in the middle of the season last year, but they did. The Atlanta Falcons scooped him up, and now he's making plays against the Detroit Lions as the Atlanta Falcons drive inside the Detroit Lions red zone, having a fresh set of downs at the Detroit Lions 15-yard line as they are about to take their 6th play of this drive after having 5 plays previously, after accumulating 39 yards and taking up 2 minutes and 11 seconds up off the game clock. Will Harris has 3 total tackles on the day, isn't playing his best football at the cornerback position, played boundary cornerback last week as a relief player for Ifeatu Melifonwu, but in the extreme circumstance without Amani this week, and with Ifeatu really being the only secondary and the only true cornerback left on this roster that is healthy, Will Harris has had to step up big time, and he is now playing boundary cornerback for the Detroit Lions. And, I mean, he did okay last week. I believe give up 4 receptions for like 26 yards, if I want to say that correctly. Had 2 big pass deflections and had 2 big passes defended as he knocked the football away once in the end zone at the end of the game and one earlier in that football game as well to end a drive. And, I mean, overall, Will Harris has been playing pretty good. I think he's finally getting comfortable at the safety position. And unfortunately, they really don't have any other options, as Michael Brockers, another starter for this Lions defense, is taken off the field and is taken back into the blue tent. He is walking. I mean, doesn't seem to have a limp. It seems like he's trying to stretch out that shoulder. So I don't know if he landed on it wrong or what, but on 1st and 10, the Lions will be without yet another starter as the Detroit Lions rally to the football and actually stop Cordarrelle Patterson for a very minimal gain on 1st down, bringing up 2nd down and 9 at the Detroit Lions 14-yard line. And that's something the Lions have done very well today. They've tackled extremely well. They have 3 sacks already. A lot of them, at least one of them, was in the open field in the Derek Barnes tackle. And on running plays with Cordarrelle Patterson, they have been really, really consistent with their tackling ability. As on 2nd and 9, Kyle Pitts does get his 2nd reception on the day for 8 yards, bringing this drive to a 3rd and 1 at the Detroit Lions 6-yard line. It looks like Kyle Pitts just got a little bit of a check down and was strong enough to kind of pull Tracy Walker a couple extra yards, but Tracy Walker was strong enough to bring down the 6'6" tight end, who, I mean, again, his biggest attribute coming out of the draft was his athleticism and his receiving ability, and the fact that he was just a hard guy to tackle, and Tracy Walker stepped up and he did that. Obviously, you wish he didn't get those extra yardage, but Tracy Walker made the tackle nonetheless. And on 3rd and 1, I believe Matt Ryan went for the QB sneak, but did not get it, bringing up a 4th and 1 for the Detroit Lions, stopped for no gain by Charles Harris and John Pennicini. Matt Ryan not having a bad game, starting 6 for 7 for 54 yards. Cordero Patterson having only 3 carries for 5 yards. And Kyle Pitts having 2 receptions for 21 yards, being your stat leaders for Arizona this far. The Arizona Cardinals, the Atlanta Falcons last week in the red zone had 5 trips, scored 1 touchdown and 1 field goal, but failed to score on 3 of their 5 red zone trips. And as of right now, the Atlanta Falcons are going for it on 4th and 1 again. The Lions have a lot of players stacked around the box with the lone cornerback bang Ifeatu Melifonwu on the outside. The Cardinals are going to snap it, toss it out to Cordero Patterson, and unfortunately, Cordero Patterson is going to take it into the end zone for an Atlanta Falcons touchdown. The Falcons take the lead 6-3 with the extra point still pending, of course. And I mean, at this point, the Detroit Lions are being heavily impacted by the injuries. Michael Brockers again left the field, as did Jason Cabinda early. 2 starters are already down, as Young Ho Koo does make the extra point for the Atlanta Falcons. The Lions stacked a lot of bodies inside the box, so the Atlanta Falcons said that they were just going to run it outside. There was a little bit of holding on number 25, Will Harris, for the Detroit Lions, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Sometimes it gets called, sometimes it doesn't, and the Lions fall behind by a score of 7-3 to these Atlanta Falcons, with Tim Boyle and this offense taking the field for the 3rd time this game. Now, looking at the first couple opening drives for the Detroit Lions as we go to a commercial break on the broadcast, Tim Boyle is not playing bad. He has 2 incompletions. One was, both of them were in target actually to Josh Reynolds, but they were both just kind of off target, expecting Josh Reynolds to be somewhere where he wasn't. One of them was caused by pressure. The other one was just a flat out miss by Tim Boyle that it could have been a touchdown to Amon-Ra St. Brown. But I think they need to keep doing what they're doing with Tim Boyle. I'd like to see a couple more deep and intermediate shots down the field, especially with the level of play that the offensive line is showing right now. But, I'd like to see Craig Reynolds get more involved in this game as well. He's a big play guy. He's a guy that has been consistent for the Detroit Lions over the past 2 to 3 weeks and has been consistent every time he's touched the field for the Detroit Lions this season. I'd like to see Craig get a couple more carries, especially with Jamal Williams not quite having the success that maybe you'd expect him to have, only averaging 2 yards per carry. Craig Reynolds has 3-on-1. But, at the same time, he's being more efficient. And with the last 2 weeks, I don't know how you don't get Craig Reynolds the football. As of receiving, no more receptions have been put up, obviously, as the offense has yet to hit the field. And, overall, that drive I didn't think was that poor by the Detroit Lions. They got to clean up some of those deeper plays down the field. But, overall, it was just a really solid, methodical drive by the Atlanta Falcons. I don't remember exactly how many plays it was. Let's see if we can see. Yeah, 9 plays, 54 yards. A scoring drive for the Atlanta Falcons. It's not like we expected this game to be a shutout. You're going to give up points. The Lions shut out the Atlanta Falcons in the first quarter of play, and they're going to take the field and hopefully can, obviously strike back. Hopefully can get some more points on the scoreboard. Hopefully they can hit a nice touchdown or 2 to Craig Reynolds and Amon-Ra St. Brown, or anybody on the field that we could possibly score a touchdown with. But at this point, it's early in the football game. The Lions are losing some starters pretty early and some pretty impactful ones at that. But I'd like to see the offense kind of get back to what they were doing. I'd like to see the offense kind of get back to what they did well in the first quarter, and that was running the football, staying ahead of the chains, and just keeping a methodical, simple offense in front of Tim Boyle for him to navigate. Now, Young Ho Koo does take the kickoff, and it does go out of the back of the end zone. And as a result, the touchback does put the Detroit Lions at the 25. Cordero Patterson on the season is having a really, really good year, having over 500 yards and 2 touchdowns in both of the rushing and the receiving game. And he has career highs in both rushing and receiving yards, as well as rushing and receiving touchdowns. And on top of being one of the greatest returners of all time, Cordero Patterson is now finding his place in an NFL offense as a true offensive weapon. He's not really a wide receiver. He's not really a running back. He's not really anything particular, but he's just kind of a good gadget player and a super super good asset to have on the offensive side of the football as the Lions take the field for their third drive of the football game, starting at their own 25. And unfortunately, they are going backwards on a penalty from Shane Zylstra. I believe he was a false start, which will set the Lions back at their own 20 on pretty obvious false start there by number 84, and that will set the Lions back to a 1st and 15 at their own 20-yard line, making the job just that much harder for themselves. And as a little bit of an update, the Jacksonville Jaguars are officially winning their game versus the Jets as of right now. They're winning 9-6. And if the Lions lose this game and the Jacksonville Jaguars do win this game, the Lions will get the number 1 pick back, as injury report is coming in and an injury update is coming in that Jason Kabinda is now officially questionable to return with a knee injury after extending to pull in a pass from Tim Boyle. As on 1st and 15, Jamal Williams actually gets a 15-yard run and picks up a first down for the Detroit Lions at their own 34. That's kind of the big plays I was talking about earlier. I mentioned Jamal Williams has had some 10, 15-yard carries when the blocking's been good and when he's been put in the open space. And he gets his first big run for the Detroit Lions after coming back from the COVID list. Just really strong, breaks 2 arm tackles in a row. Craig Reynolds gets his second carry and takes it for 5 yards on the ground. And I believe actually maybe Jamal Williams was a yard short. Yep, it was. It brought up second down. So Tim Boyle says, well, I will pick up the rest of that yardage, gets a carry and picks up 5 yards and, gets a fresh set of down for the Detroit Lions at the Lions 39. And this is what the Lions have to do. They have to continue to use the rushing attack to their advantage as the Cincinnati Bengals take a 17-7 lead over the Baltimore Ravens on a 64-yard passing play from Joe Burrow to 83 of the Bengals. I want to say Ryan Boyd, but I'm not entirely sure. But the Bengals currently in first place in the AFC North and looking to extend that lead as the Lions on 1st and 10 hand the ball off to Craig Reynolds again, who is unfortunately dropped for a 2-yard loss by number 54, Uwe Aluakon, I believe. That's how you pronounce the name. But Aluakon drops him for a 2-yard loss on the play, and the Lions are once again backed up to 2nd and 12. Really just a good play. He shed the block of Halapoloti Vaitai. Just shed the block, got off, and made a really good open field tackle on Craig Reynolds. Brings up 2nd and 12 for the Lions. Dan Campbell looks a little bit frustrated, but Tim Boyle comes back yet again, gets a really good pass to Craig Reynolds, actually is what it says, and brings them up to the Atlanta Falcons 49-yard line, passing midfield. Yep, just a little check down to Craig Reynolds on 2nd and 12, who breaks 2 tackles and picks up the first down, passing midfield and extending the Lions' drive, bringing up a brand new set of Detroit Lions first downs and a fresh set of downs for the Lions on this drive. Again, not really the big play I was hoping for, but if your running back's going to break 2 or 3 tackles on his way to a first down after a 13-yard reception, I guess you just keep getting Craig Reynolds the ball as Jamal Williams on his 6th carry of the game picks up another 4-yard gain for the Detroit Lions, bringing up a 2nd and 6 at the Atlanta Falcons 45-yard line. The running game is starting to heat up just a little bit. They haven't broken off that big play yet, but the run blocking is continuing to be impressive on the day, and the running backs continue to get 4, 5, 6-yard carries every single time they touch the ball. And when your running backs are averaging 5 to 6 yards a carry, it's going to be very hard to stop that offense, especially when they take up time off the clock. But unfortunately, the rookie Penei Sewell is called for a false start on 2nd and 6, backing them up 5 yards to 2nd and 11. Poor play by the rookie, mental mistake by the rookie tackle. He's been great all year. Penei Sewell has been one of the best tackles in the NFL, but unfortunately does make the mental mistake there. I didn't really see a false start, but the refs and the Atlanta Falcons defense did. So unfortunately, the Lions are backed up to 2nd and 11. But every time they've been backed up behind the chains this drive, Tim Boyle has delivered a strike to pick up the first down. And hopefully that's what he does here on 2nd down, as I will take a drink of water. So it's now 2nd and 11 for the Detroit Lions with with 7 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock. And on 2nd down and 11, Jamal Williams gets the ball yet again for a 6-yard carry, bringing the Detroit Lions back within 3rd and manageable and bringing up a 3rd and 5 for the Detroit Lions offense, which again is much easier to convert than 3rd and 11. I like that the Lions are running the ball a lot. Jamal Williams looks frustrated with himself that he's not breaking off some of these bigger plays. But at the end of the day, he's also not playing a bad football game. 7 carries for 32 yards isn't the best average in the NFL. But, I mean, that is – what is that averaging? That, I mean, he is averaging 4.6 yards per attempt right now, which is, I mean, in the NFL, averaging 4 yards a carry is really good, as Craig Reynolds on 3rd and 5 does get another rushing attempt and gets extremely close to the 1st down marker as he is dragged down just inches away from the 1st down. And if I was the Detroit Lions here, I would go for it, right? The Atlanta Falcons seize back a little bit of momentum. The Lions are running the ball really well. Craig Reynolds and obviously Jamal Williams are averaging just yards and yards after contact. I mean, Jamal Williams is averaging 4.2 yards per carry. Craig Reynolds has averaged, 6 yards per carry in the last 2 games. If I'm the Lions, I'm staying on the field. I'm in I formation with a fullback, and I am going for it on 4th down, running it with Jamal Williams, and I am picking up this 1st down to seize back momentum and to take our momentum back in the football game. Although the Detroit Lions have 15 4th down conversions in the NFL, which is tied for the most in the NFL, but they also have the most attempts in the NFL, so that stat is slightly skewed. It does seem like they will let the clock run out and they will call a timeout with 5 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in this game. So far on the drive, the Lions have played 7 plays, picked up 35 yards, and eaten up 5 minutes and 22 seconds of game clock. And, I mean, the offense is moving. They started their own 25, backed up to their 20. So the real drive started at the 20-yard line. They've driven 35 yards ever since, and now at 4th and 1 at the Atlanta Falcons 40-yard line. The way the Lions have been running the ball, I think calling a timeout here was a smart idea. You get your players right. You get your play set up exactly how you want it, and you impose your will, and you run the ball right at the Atlanta Falcons offense, and you dare them to stop Jamal Williams as, that big power back, and you run the football and you dare them to stop Jamal Williams. I don't want to see any fancy play actions. I don't want to see Tim Boyle touch the ball other than to give it to Jamal Williams. And I think that's the best course of action right now for the Detroit Lions, right? Obviously, I'd say take the points if they were a little closer, but at the Atlanta Falcons 40-yard line, they aren't really in a position to do that. And unfortunately, on 4th and 1, Jonah Jackson does false start. Another mental error by the Detroit Lions this week that will set them back to 4th and 6 and will likely cause the Detroit Lions to punt. Dan Campbell's upset. He's super frustrated. I can't repeat what he's saying, but Jonah Jackson coming back off of injury makes a mental mistake and hurts the Detroit Lions. They had 6 offensive linemen on the field. I don't know if Jonah Jackson thought the snap count was a little bit different, was just trying to lean forward. It looked like maybe a QB sneak was on the way, just based on the way that Jonah Jackson started blocking. But, I mean, it doesn't matter at this point because the mental mistake backs up the Detroit Lions, and now they have to punt again and hope that their defense – actually, the fake punt by Jack Fox, his 2nd fake punt of the year to Kaderil Hodge as he continues to make his way down the field. Jack Fox now 2 for 2 on the season, and Kaderil Hodge, I believe, has his first reception on the season as well for the Detroit Lions on the fake punt, picking up a 1st down for the Detroit Lions, extending this drive. I was not expecting that. I don't think anybody was expecting that play from the Detroit Lions, but Jack Fox picks up the ball, delivers a really good throw right into the numbers of Kaderil Hodge with obviously no pressure because everybody thought it was a punt. And, Kaderil Hodge makes the catch and drags the defender for an extra 5 yards after contact to bring up a fresh set of downs and extend this drive for the Detroit Lions. So the Lions on 1st and 10 get a 4-yard rush from Jamal Williams, bringing up 2nd and 6 at the Atlanta Falcons 20-yard line. The Lions now have 9 plays on the drive for 55 yards, eating up 6 minutes and 18 seconds off the clock. Everybody's congratulating Jack Fox on the sideline for his phenomenal passing play on 4th down to extend the Lions drive. And Dan Campbell looked really mad. He's got a little smirk on his face now. He looked really, really mad after the false start by Jonah Jackson. And I don't know if that was improvised. I don't know. I'm sure that was planned because, I mean, I don't think you just improvise that as a punter. But very good pickup, very good trick play. You've seen the Lions run a couple of those trick plays so far this season, as on 2nd down and 7, Tim Boyle rolls out of the pocket and throws a pass that looks like there's a lot of contact, but no flag is thrown on the field as Josh Reynolds, I believe, was being covered by A.J. Terrell. It looked like a lot of contact on the play, but the referees didn't see it the same way. They said it was just some hand fighting, and although Josh Reynolds hit the ground before the ball was even there, they say it wasn't pass interference. So, brings up 2nd and 7, 3rd and 7 for the Detroit Lions on this drive at the Atlanta Falcons 20-yard line. They picked up some big yardage before. Hopefully, Tim Boyle can make another big throw. And on 2nd and 7, 5, 4, 3, Tim Boyle gets the ball, drops back, scans the field, throws a really good pass, and Amon-Ra St. Brown comes up with the football and just actually does inch into the end zone very, very barely. The referee kind of thought about it for a second. I didn't think Amon-Ra quite got there, but on the pass from Tim Boyle, Amon-Ra goes up, high points the football, out jumps the defender, and muscles his way into the end zone for the 3rd career touchdown of number 14 and his 2nd touchdown in as many weeks. I mean, just high pointed the ball better than the defender and actually out muscled a linebacker to make it into the end zone. So, I mean, really good play. Khalif Raymond helps him a little bit with the push in the back to get and just barely inch that football over the end zone. Amon-Ra didn't even know he scored the touchdown until Khalif Raymond started celebrating with him. And the Lions retake the lead as Riley Patterson, of course, kicks the field goal and stays perfect on his season. They kick the extra point. The Lions now lead this game 10-7 going in late into the 2nd quarter of play. And I believe the Detroit Lions as well will get the ball coming out of halftime. So that score was very big. If the Lions can, obviously stop the Atlanta Falcons again, as Riley Patterson, at least on the screen right now, drills the extra point straight down the middle and straight through the uprights for the 10th point on the day. The Lions again take the lead in this game with minimal time left in the 2nd quarter and minimal time left in the first half for the Atlanta Falcons to score some points. If the Lions defense can hold up for 3 minutes and 44 seconds, they will go into halftime with a 10-7 lead, if not even a larger margin of victory at halftime, and will get the football coming out of halftime as well. The Detroit Lions right now are playing a really, really good brand of football. I know the touchdown drive wasn't phenomenal by our defense, but even in that touchdown drive, there were some positives to take away. The Lions stalled out on that 2nd drive, but were able to drive down and put the ball in the end zone by a really not a great pass by Tim Boyle, but a great catch and run by number 14, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the 4th round rookie selection and the 4th round rookie standout. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown has been making big play after big play for this offense, and he comes through yet again as Tim Boyle gets his 1st career passing touchdown in the NFL, and Amon-Ra St. Brown extends this lead for the Detroit Lions. Dr. Detroit says, don't care what it looks like, just keep moving forward. That's exactly the mentality that the Lions need to have. It doesn't matter if it's clean, doesn't matter if it's fancy, if it's a poor thrown ball and your wide receiver makes a great play, then you get the big play. And that's exactly what just happened. And I mean, obviously I'm here and I'm saying like, okay, didn't look pretty, not a great ball by Tim Boyle, but at the end of the day, it was a touchdown pass. And a touchdown pass puts 7 points on the board, and you can't complain about putting 7 on the board. The Lions extend, or I guess retake the lead and extend it with the extra point, leading this game 10-7 with just 3 minutes and 44 seconds left in the first half. The Lions have played some really good football today. The Lions overall, I mean, their offense kind of stalled on that 2nd drive when they were backed up in the end zone and kind of didn't have the full playbook at their expense. But, you give the Lions, even at their own 25, Jamal Williams is running the ball really well. Craig Reynolds is running the ball very well. And even Amon-Ra St. Brown had a really nice rushing attempt. Altogether, the Lions' rushing attack is keeping them on schedule. Tim Boyle is looking really solid and is looking pretty positive right now, being 9 for 12 for 70 yards, and is only 70 yards away from his career high passing in the NFL. And he's only in the first half and may even get an opportunity to pass that before the first half is over. And of course, Amon-Ra on his 4th reception after the fake punt by Jack Fox is able to put the ball in the end zone. Dr. Detroit says the Lions have played good football the last 6 games. They have. Ever since the bye week, ever since the Lions have played Pittsburgh, after another really, really strong special teams tackle on the kickoff on Cordero Patterson sets the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals are not playing. I keep saying the Cardinals, and I apologize. Sets the Atlanta Falcons back a couple of yards as they will start at their own 22, I believe, instead of the 25. And the Lions so far, especially on special teams this game, have played really well. As on 1st down and 10, the Cardinals connect with wide receiver number 17. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I apologize, but they get the 17-yard connection to number 17. But like Dr. Detroit's been saying, the Lions have been playing really good football ever since Pittsburgh. Ever since the bye week, they've come out and they've played great defensively for, I'd say, 5 of the 7 games. They've played great defensively. Offensively, they played great last week. They're playing pretty good this week. Even in Minnesota, they put up 30 points yet again and looked really, really good. The offense has been hit and miss over the past couple of weeks, but the defense, especially, and the Lions as a team, have been playing really good team football. As on 2nd and 10 for the Detroit Lions, the Arizona Cardinals, the Atlanta Falcons run the football for an 8-yard gain, getting up to their own 47-yard line in just 44 seconds. 3 minutes remain in the first half as the clock ticks away, and the Atlanta Falcons are officially driving. Now, give me just a second, okay? I got to let somebody out of my room. All right, we are back as the Atlanta Falcons on 2nd and 2 pick up another big play through the air to the Detroit Lions 38, picking up another 1st down for the offense. And the Falcons aren't doing anything too crazy right now. They're just finding some holes in the zone defense. They're finding holes in Aaron Glenn's zone play. And, I mean, they're just exploiting it. Matt Ryan is a veteran quarterback who knows exactly how to lead an offense just like this. And the Falcons haven't hit that big play yet, but you know, at the same time, the Falcons are driving down the field. They've had 2 big, I think, 17, 18-yard receptions back-to-back, and they are driving down the field. Now, the Lions hopefully can stand up in the red zone, much like they did last week, and they can hold the Atlanta Falcons to 0 points, or at best-case scenario, probably 3 points at this point in the drive. But if the Lions can get a turnover here, the Lions can, force that turnover in the red zone and maybe even force a defensive touchdown in as, the Falcons drive on them. If the Lions defense can flip the script right here and get the football back to the offense with 2 minutes left in the first half, give their offense a chance to take a more commanding lead going into halftime and then coming out of halftime with the football yet again. I mean, that could be the big momentum swinger for this team right now. But at the end of the day, the Lions at this point in the game with 2 minutes left just cannot allow a touchdown. It's okay to go into halftime tied. It's okay to go into halftime winning. But what you cannot allow if you are Aaron Glenn or a defender is to go into halftime of this game after largely dominating the first half and be losing this football game. And I know score, it doesn't always indicate how well a team is playing, and score doesn't always indicate whether one team is better than the other. But for morale and just for confidence levels in this game, you as the Lions cannot dominate the first half for 90% of it and then go into halftime losing in this football game. You're away, you're at the opponent's stadium, you have to make a statement early, and I think the Lions right now, all they have to do and all Aaron Glenn should be teaching is keep them out of the end zone. If we go into halftime tied, obviously that's about the same as starting the game at 0-0. You go into the second half and you play your second half better than you played your first and hopefully walk out with a victory. But if you're Aaron Glenn, if you're Dan Campbell, you are preaching to your players right now that you cannot allow a touchdown right here. You can allow some yardage. You can, allow first downs. But as soon as we get to the red zone, you are, manned up, you are tight in coverage, you play fast, you play aggressive, and you do not allow a reception in your end zone. And I think that's what the Lions have to be preaching. And I think that's what the game plan should be in these last 2 minutes. Now, I'd love to see a turnover like right here. Obviously, I'd love to see the Falcons make a mistake and the Lions capitalize on it with a large turnover. But as of right now, if you're the Lions, you're just thinking keep them out of the end zone, take the ball into halftime tied or winning, and get your offense the football back with an opportunity to either retake or extend this football lead. Now the Falcons on 1st and 10 get a 3-yard run from Mike Davis, getting to the Detroit Lions 35-yard line. I mean, average run for the Atlanta Falcons, not really bringing up a huge, not being a huge play, but keeping them in front of the chains nonetheless. And the Atlanta Falcons are going to continue this drive with 1 minute and 40 seconds left on the clock. 2nd and 7 at the Lions 35-yard line. They're going to bleed out every second of this clock and try to score with as little time left as possible. Cordero Patterson is in motion to the top of the screen. It is now being man covered by Will Harris. It looks like they're going to send Jalen Reeves-Maybin on a little bit of a blitz, and they're going to send 4 people, but actually drop Charles Harris into coverage, and the pressure actually forces an incomplete pass by Matt Ryan. Ifeatu Melifonwu was stepping up to make the tackle, but Matt Ryan did not have enough to get it out to Cordero Patterson before hitting the ground. The pressure forced Matt Ryan to throw off his back foot, and actually the ball was tipped slightly by Jalen Reeves-Maybin, who now, I believe that counts as a pass deflection, has his second best deflection in as many weeks, as he, got his hand up in the face of Kyler Murray last week on the 2-point conversion and now batted the ball away yet again. More pressure on the play on 3rd and 7 as Matt Ryan is forced to throw the ball away with 1 minute and 9 seconds remaining at the Lions 35. This would be a 45-yard field goal, something that Young Hoku is very capable of making, but by no means is a guaranteed field goal, or by any means is guaranteed points for the Atlanta Falcons. But being the good kicker that he is, Young Hoku does hit the field goal this time and does tie the game up 10-10 with 1 minute and 4 seconds left for the Detroit Lions. Now, I know the Lions give up points this drive. I know that the Atlanta Falcons are now once again tied. It's actually a 53-yarder, but I know the Falcons and the Lions are tied. But if I'm if I'm Aaron Glenn, if I'm Dan Campbell, my defense is coming off the field and I'm saying, you guys did your jobs. You guys held them to a long field goal and you forced their kicker to make, a really impressive kick and a really difficult kick at this point to, extend their lead or to even get tied with us. And you gave the offense 1 minute and 5 seconds with 2 timeouts to go down and score more points before going into halftime. So the defense did their job with minimal time left in the first half. And now I want to see the offense do theirs. They have 1 minute and 4 seconds. They have 2 timeouts. And depending on where this kickoff goes, they're probably going to start at the 25-yard line, if not even closer. And 1 minute, 6 seconds left with 2 timeouts is a very long time in the NFL. Tim Boyle is 9 for 12 for 70 yards and a touchdown. The offense has been playing really good, especially in the rushing attack. I think if you're the Lions, you come out, you run a play early, you give Josh Reynolds the ball on the first play of the drive, see if he can pick up a big gain. If not, maybe you slow it down and maybe you go into the halftime tied. And if Josh Reynolds can pick up, 10, 15-yard carry, even a 7-8-yard carry on first down, kind of get you that momentum early in the drive. Take a deep shot with Tim Boyle here and there. And I think, you don't put the ball in harm's way too much unless it's like the last or second to last play of the half. But, I think you are aggressive. I think you go for this. I think you try to score points before halftime with those 2 timeouts and obviously your 1 minute, 4 seconds left. And I think you try to score points here, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown. Obviously, touchdown would be better than a field goal. But you also then go out of halftime with the football and potentially with the lead, and you could kind of get back-to-back possessions and score on those back-to-back possessions, taking a huge momentum lead and taking obviously a huge points lead in this football game. And this could be the turning point in the game. I know it's early. I know we have a whole second half to play, but a lot of football games are won right here. This was kind of a staple of the Bill Belichick system is, you force the offense to get the ball back with, a little bit of time left in the first half. You go down, you score right before the half ends, and then you get the football back and you score again on back-to-back possessions without the other offense even having a chance to hit the field. And you take that 2-possession lead in a matter of, 8-9 minutes of game time in between the two halves. And that's been a big reason as to why the New England Patriots have been really good, is because they are masters at doing that. They score before the half, and then they get the ball at half, and they score again, and they get back-to-back possessions and take 2-score leads or get 2 scores closer to the opponent, whether they're winning or losing, obviously, and it gets them right back in games or sets them ahead in games. It sometimes is just too much for the opponents to match. Now, this ball is caught in the end zone. Godwin thinks about it for a second, but does take the knee, and the Detroit Lions will take the field at their own 25-yard line. Now, again, if I'm the Lions, I'm being aggressive. There's a lot of time left. You have 2 timeouts. Your offense has been pretty efficient today. Not quite had that big play, but hasn't had too many negative plays either. I think 1:06, 1:04 is plenty of time to make their way down the field. And on first down, they do a 8-yard pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who gets his 5th reception in the first half, bring up a 2nd and 2 at the Lions 33. They take 5 seconds off the clock, and I'm sure are going to hurry up right after that. But again, really solid strike, really solid ball by Tim Boyle. Not bad over the middle. Amon-Ra takes a little bit of a hard hit from Deion Jones, but not anything he hasn't felt before. And then on 2nd and 2, Tim Boyle delivers another pretty good shot over the middle to, I believe, again, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who now has 6 receptions for 58 yards and a touchdown in the first half. Yep, little out route by St. Brown, gets out of bounds to stop the clock with 42 seconds left. The Lions pick up a first down. They're at their own 39-yard line, and I think you keep giving the ball to St. Brown. The connection between St. Brown and the quarterbacks right now seems to be one that is working, and when something's working, you don't fix it. The old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If 14's getting you yardage, you keep giving him the football. Now on 1st and 10 with 39 seconds, 42 seconds left, Tim Boyle does target Josh Reynolds down the field, but unfortunately the ball falls incomplete and hits the turf. It is a little bit of a deeper shot, and I would expect Craig Reynolds to come in, or Josh Reynolds to come in with that ball, but the ball was a little bit placed outside. If the ball's a little more inside, a little more towards the hashes, and is kind of placed a little better, he probably has a much better chance of completing and catching that pass. But that's still a pass I would expect Josh Reynolds to have. And once again, on 2nd and 10, they look long to Khalif Raymond, and the ball yet again falls incomplete and falls to the turf, bringing up 3rd and 10 for the Detroit Lions with just 33 seconds left to go. Right now, Tim Boyle with 6 seconds left on the game clock. This is the pass to Khalif Raymond. Drops back, is looking deep, throws a pretty decent ball, and Khalif Raymond is just about a step away from getting his feet in bounds and obviously completing that pass and getting out of bounds. Brings up 3rd and 10 for the Lions. I do like they're being aggressive. I wish they were doing this early in the drive. Obviously, they're out of time almost. If they don't convert this 3rd and 10, they're going to have to punt the football away, and the Falcons will likely just take a knee going into halftime. But, I wish they were doing this early. I know Tim Boyle isn't completing these long passes. I know that Tim Boyle isn't necessarily completing all of these long passes for completions, as Tim Boyle does have a short pass on the right side of the field to Tom Kennedy, who makes his first reception on the day. And I believe maybe even the first regular season reception of his career, but is very swiftly tackled by Duron Harmon and Foyesade Oluokun. The drive is pretty much over. I wouldn't go for it here if I'm the Detroit Lions, even though it looks like maybe the offense is staying on the field. Maybe you just throw up a deep shot, right? You let time expire. You throw a deep shot. You let Tim Boyle just throw it as far as he can. And if, you get called for PI, then you do. If not, and actually it seems like maybe the Lions and the Falcons are just going to let time expire, and they are going to go into halftime tied 10-10. Really, I don't know if they called a timeout. It looks like they did call a timeout with 2 seconds left, and they're going to send Tim Boyle out there just to see, right? 2 seconds left. You send everybody vertical. If he throws an interception, he throws an interception, and it is what it is. The half is over. If you get called for maybe PI, then you get a chance at a field goal, or if something crazy happens and a tip ball goes their way, maybe the Lions walk in with a touchdown to end the half and to go into the locker room with. It's an extremely low risk, extremely high reward situation. You create some contact with the DB, you fall down, maybe you get a lucky call, maybe you don't. I mean, it's a low risk, high reward kind of a play. And this is pretty much what I would expect the Detroit Lions to be doing right now. It doesn't make sense to me to punt because, I mean, there is no upside to punting. You can't score off of that. Cordero Patterson is currently stationed on the goal line, 55 yards away from the line of scrimmage. And it looks like Tim Boyle is going to just catch the ball. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but obviously the Lions don't pick up a lot of yardage. It looks like Tim Boyle is going to step back. He's going to feel some pressure. It's just going to throw the ball down the field, and the ball will fall incomplete. Didn't want to put the ball in harm's way too much just in case. So the ball hits the ground harmlessly and falls incomplete as the Detroit Lions and the Atlanta Falcons go into halftime tied at 10 apiece, with both teams having a really good offensive drive, but both teams having obviously a field goal drive that didn't end the way they wanted, and with both defenses honestly playing pretty solid football. Tim Boyle looks really good as 92 passing yards and a passing touchdown in the first half, which is miles better already than his final stat line versus the Cleveland Browns. And as for your halftime statistics, the Detroit Lions leading passer is Tim Boyle, going 12 for 18 for 92 yards and a touchdown, having a quarterback rating of 97.5 on the day so far. Jack Fox did have that fake punt where he threw it to Cordero Hodge, 1 for 1 for 21 yards, having a quarterback rating of 118. Jamal Williams is the Lions' leading rusher, having 8 carries for 36 yards, averaging 4.5 yards per carry. Craig Reynolds does have 4 carries on the day for 10 yards. Not quite the explosive day that we saw last week, but is still contributing and doing his part for the Detroit Lions offense. As far as receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, if you could believe it, that was a bad pick by Matthew Stafford. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, if you could believe it, is leading the Detroit Lions in receptions and actually is one of only 2 players to have multiple receptions on the day. Amon-Ra St. Brown going into halftime has 6 receptions for 54 yards and the lone offensive touchdown for the Detroit Lions. Cordero Hodge, Craig Reynolds, Josh Reynolds, Tom Kennedy, Jason Cabinda, and Brock Wright also all have a reception or 2 for minimal yardage. Craig Reynolds has been targeted 5 times, but only has 1 reception, which came on the very first pass attempt of the game. Ever since then, him and Tim Boyle have yet to really find that chemistry. The Lions opened up with a huge play, and they opened up with a couple big sacks early in this football game as Austin Bryant, Aleem McNeil, and Derek Barnes all have a sack in this game, as well as all having a tackle for loss. And Jalen Reeves-Maybin and AJ Parker both have a pass defended on the day as well. Now, to the fun part of the stream that everybody's here for, and the part that I was extremely excited to watch and extremely excited to talk about was the mock draft that we put together. Now, as you know, with the win versus the Arizona Cardinals a week ago, the Detroit Lions now move to the 2nd overall pick in the NFL draft as Jacksonville once again gets the 1st overall pick back in their possession. And with the updated draft rankings and the updated draft positioning, I wanted to redo a mock draft because things have changed even a lot over the past week. And I actually really like the way that this mock draft turned out. I think this gets a lot of talent for the Lions, sets up their future incredibly well, and addresses a lot of positions that they are struggling with this offseason. Now, with the 2nd overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions are keeping the Heisman finalist at home, and they select Aiden Hutchinson with the number 2 selection in the 2022 NFL Draft. Aiden Hutchinson was the 2nd player, as Kayvon Thibodeau was the number 1 player taken off the board by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Aiden Hutchinson, arguably the best player in the country, and if he's not number 1, then he's surely number 2. He's a top 2 player in this class. He's a top edge rusher in this class, was a finalist for the Heisman Trophy, and if you know college football, that does not happen a lot. This is the best player available at the time this is the best pick for the Lions. Pairing him with Romeo Okwara should give the Lions a really good dynamic duo at pass rusher and should leave the Lions with a lot of pressures and a lot of sacks in 2022, especially with guys like Aleem McNeil and Levi Onwuzurike continuing to develop and grow and get better as football players, with obviously more defensive talent coming in as well. And then going down to the Rams pick at 24th overall that we got in exchange for Jared Goff and what we got in exchange for Matthew Stafford, Kenny Pickett was the best player available. Kenny Pickett, the Heisman finalist, the quarterback out of Pittsburgh, who has absolutely dominated in the ACC this year and led the Pittsburgh Panthers to an ACC championship, was available with the 24th overall pick. He was by far the best player in the class at the time. He was by far the best player available at the time. And at that point, it felt like the right move for the Detroit Lions to take their quarterback of the future. I know there are a lot of people that aren't in love with the quarterback class this year, and they might want to wait. But I think if Kenny Pickett's available at 24, a guy with that kind of talent, arguably the most talented quarterback in this QB class, available in the late first round, I think it's really, really hard to pass up that player. And then going down to the 34th pick in the NFL draft, the Texans wanted to trade up and give up the 36th pick as well as the Houston 4th round pick for next year. And I figured moving down 2 spots, there was still a lot of players that I was very happy to get, and I decided to trade down to pick up that extra 4th round pick in next year's draft. And the Texans trade up to take Jaquan Brisket at the 34th overall pick. And moving down to 36, I decided to select David Bell, the wide receiver from Purdue. David Bell has been one of the top wide receivers in the Big Ten and been one of the top wide receivers in the entirety of college football, has dominated almost weekly, regardless of whatever team he's playing. And even against some of the great teams, even against the Michigan States of the world, even against the Ohio States of the world that they played this season, David Bell truly dominated in the Big Ten. He's got good size, got great routes, has really good hands, and has been healthy has been healthy all season and for a majority of his career. So he, again, was the best playmaking wide receiver at the time, and he seemed like the best pick for the Lions to get a true number 1 wide receiver. Now, Nakobe Dean, linebacker out of Georgia, is kind of a pass rushing and a pass coverage threat. He's really good at everything. He's an athletic linebacker that can do a lot of different things out of Georgia. A lot of these players, and I'm going to repeat myself, were just some of the best players available. And at the Lions situation, they need talent just about everywhere. So if you're the best player, and especially if you're at a position of need, you're probably going to be taken by the Lions in this mock draft. So Nakobe Dean is the 66th overall pick. And then maybe the best name in college football, Smoke Monday, the safety out of Auburn, is the selection at 98. The Lions need help in their secondary, especially at the safety position, with Tracy Walker being in a contract year, as well as Dean Marlowe also potentially leaving the Lions this season. The Lions need some safety help. Smoke Monday is really good. He's 6'3". He's big and fast and athletic, and he's made plays in the Auburn secondary over the past 4 years. He'd be a great player to add to this Lions offense. And then I actually traded up for this pick, as I gave up the Lions 176th pick as well as the 2023 Houston Texans pick that they traded up for in the 2nd round. And I selected Georgia wide receiver George Pickens. Now, George Pickens actually tore his ACL in the offseason prior to 2021. And he didn't play a lot in 2021 until the final couple weeks of the season. Although he hasn't played a lot, although he's only had a couple plays here and there, and he's only had a couple plays where he's actually involved in the play and actually sees playing time on the field because he's not 100% fully healthy yet, George Pickens, in my opinion, just based off the small sample size that we have in 2021, is going to be just fine after his injury. And at the 122nd pick, there is no higher upside wide receiver than George Pickens. George Pickens, a 5-star recruit, a almost guaranteed 1st-round pick before his ACL injury early in training camp and early in spring training for the Georgia Bulldogs. He was a surefire 1st-round pick, has absolute 1st-round Pro Bowl, all-pro wide receiver upside. And because of the injury, he's going to fall far in this draft class. And he's played just a little bit, but even in the small amount he has played this year, he's been fairly solid. And even if we don't get what the old George Pickens that we've seen in the past for Georgia, I'd feel comfortable with even half of that at the 122nd pick. Now, we waited a little longer for the next pick, but at 181, the best player available was Hassan Haskins, the running back out of Michigan. Hassan Haskins had a very good season, has broke the Michigan rushing record for touchdowns in a season, and has been one of the primary reasons that the Michigan Wolverines have a top rushing attack in college football. It has been a primary reason why the Michigan Wolverines are securely placed as the number 2 team in the country and are playing in the Orange Bowl on Saturday. Hassan Haskins is a very good running back, a great power back with a really good motor. I think pairing him with DeAndre Swift and Craig Reynolds and Jamar Jefferson is going to be a really, really good running back group. And obviously, he kind of reminds me of Jamal Williams a little bit. Jamal Williams maybe has a little bit more energy and excitement off the field, but I think Hassan Haskins also can break off a couple more big runs from Jamal Williams, who after next year may not return to the Detroit Lions. And then with the late 6th and 7th round picks, you got Ellis Brooks, linebacker out of Penn State. Not a lot of great options here, but Penn State has produced a lot of good linebackers in the past. Ellis Brooks looks like he has some real good potential as an athlete, and Penn State just seemingly puts out good linebackers year after year. So if you're starting linebacker at Penn State, you can at least get a chance in the NFL. And then Trey Dean has multiple interceptions over the past couple seasons and is yet to have a season in college football without a interception. So again, last pick in the draft, you're just upgrading your secondary with kind of a big, lanky cornerback that is a pretty good ball hack out of the air. And this mock draft, I am actually extremely happy with. And I know there's going to be a lot of things that are going to change between now and next week and now in the NFL draft. The Lions may not enter the draft with the number 2 pick. The Rams may not enter the draft with the number 24 pick. And that could throw off all the numbers in this mock draft. But if the Lions walk out of this draft with a starting caliber, all-pro, Pro Bowl caliber edge rusher in Hayden Hutchinson, they walk out with a bona fide starting quarterback or a player that very well could develop into a starting long-term quarterback option in Kenny Pickett. You walk out with a true number 1 in David Bell. You walk out with a rotational linebacker. You walk out with 2 pretty talented secondary members in Smoke Monday and Trey Dean III. You walk out with George Pickens, an extremely high upside wide receiver, Hassan Haskins, a role player, an extremely high upside running back, and Ellis Brooks, an athletic linebacker from Penn State. If you walk out with 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 starters, 4.5 starters with a couple other role players, that's another phenomenal craft, another phenomenal draft by Brad Holmes and this Detroit Lions team. And, you know, if you add Aiden Hutchinson and Kenny Pickett and David Bell and Nakobe Dean and Smoke Monday and George Pickens and Hassan Haskins to this group, even without Ellis Brooks and Trey Dean, that is adding, I mean, at least 3 starters with the upside of a 4th. And Nakobe Dean, I mean, could very well take the spot of a Jalen Reeves-Maybin, who's also in a contract year and could even outbattle Derek Barnes for that other starting linebacker spot alongside Alex Anzalone when he returns next year for the Lions. Now, another thing I really liked about this draft class was the fact that you got your quarterback in Kenny Pickett with the 24th overall pick. And if you go to Sports Reference, which has all the statistics for pretty much every sport ever, and you go to Kenny Pickett, right? Kenny Pickett is your prototypical quarterback. He is 6'3", 220 pounds. He finished 3rd in the Heisman voting, only behind Aiden Hutchinson, who the Lions also ended up drafting in this mock draft. He played quarterback at Pittsburgh for 5 seasons, playing 4 games as a freshman. Didn't really do a lot, but every other year he has been phenomenal for the Pittsburgh Panthers. In his, I guess technically his sophomore year, he played in 14 games, had a 58 completion percentage for almost 2,000 yards, but had 12 touchdowns to just 6 interceptions. His junior year was better, almost or over 3,000 yards and a 61% completion with 13 and 9. His senior year, or his first senior year, again 61.1 for 2,400 yards and 13 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. And then this season, he truly exploded as a quarterback, having a 67% completion percentage for 4,319 yards and 42 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Now he has never been a quarterback to turn the ball over. He's always been a safe quarterback, but has never been afraid to take the deep shot. And this year, especially, both as a scrambler and a passer, he took incredible strides to improve his game. And he's improved steadily every single year as a football player, as the Detroit Lions are set to kick off the second half of play. And Younghoe Koo kicks it to Godwin Igwebuike, and Godwin takes a knee in the end zone for the Lions offense to retake the field in the second half of play. But this mock draft is one that I was extremely happy with. I mean, you get 2 Heisman finalists, a starting wide receiver, a potential starting second wide receiver. I mean, Smoke Monday, I think, has potential to start in the NFL. So does Nakobe Dean. And Hassan Haskins with DeAndre Swift would be a very dangerous running back duo for the NFL. And Hassan Haskins can help take some of that load off of DeAndre Swift and not have his body facing so much punishment. Whereas, Hassan Haskins is used to that punishment being in a run-heavy system at Michigan. Now, in the first play of the half, Tim Boyle flips the pass out to Brock Wright, who picks up 2 yards, bringing up 2nd and 8 at the Detroit Lions 27-yard line. And I think I'm going to clip that mock draft and I'm going to put it in a brand new video for the Detroit Lions fans. I know not a lot of people are looking at the mock draft right now, and there's not a lot of people here to see it, but I was very happy with the mock draft. So that will be going up in a video at a later date as well. And then on 2nd and 8, the Detroit Lions they pick up 6 yards on the ground, bring up 3rd and 3 at their own 32-yard line. And the Lions are going to have a very 3rd and manageable. I think at this point, you give it to Jamal Williams yet again, and you let him go pick up the first down. And unfortunately, they do not do that. The Detroit Lions end up throwing a pass out to Josh Reynolds. And it falls incomplete. Josh Reynolds and Tim Boyle do not seem to have a very good connection on the field right now. I'm watching the play right now. Almost jumps offside by the Atlanta Falcons, but on a quick pass by Tim Boyle, Josh Reynolds just can't seem to adjust to the football in the way that Tim Boyle is throwing it. So unfortunately, they end up going 3 and out on their first drive, and they will punt the football away. But at the same time, Jakeem Grant, really good, really highly touted safety coming out of University of Southern Florida, the Knights. And, it just seems like, unfortunately, they are going to go 3 and out for their first drive. Jack Fox, standing at his own 15, will punt the football away. Gets a really good punt off, actually, driving the returner back to the 10-yard line. Catches it at the 11, pinning them inside the 20-yard line. And the Detroit Lions defense will take the field for the first time this half and will do their absolute best to hold the Falcons to minimal and hopefully 0 points on this drive. The Lions were not able to take advantage of the second half start, and were not able to take advantage of the obviously having the ball to start the second half. Unfortunately, the Lions had to punt the ball away, but another really good punt by Jack Fox pins the Atlanta Falcons inside their own 11-yard line and will give the defense a lot of room to work with and will give them some very favorable field positioning for the opening drive of the second half. Now, hopefully the Detroit Lions defense can start off this half in a very similar way as they started the first half, getting 3 sacks on the first drive and having the Atlanta Falcons not go 3 and out, but go 5 and out, right? They got a first down on the second play after a sack on the first play, and then they got 2 back-to-back sacks and they forced a punt. the Lions defense played really well early in the first quarter. They gave up a couple of points here in the second quarter, and hopefully Aaron Glenn can make some adjustments and can have the defense playing fast and playing aggressive yet again for this team in the second half. And unfortunately, I blocked that because that is not something that we need in here. Neither is this. I will get rid of some of these. But at this point in the season, the Detroit Lions are, they're 2-11-1. They are playing some pretty good football at this point. They played very good football ever since the bye week. And, they just have been playing some pretty good football, right? The Atlanta Falcons are 6-8. They aren't really great in any statistical category, but they have been finding some soft spots in the Detroit Lions zone defense. And I think that's something the Lions have to clean up going into the second half. They have to play just a little bit tighter coverage. They got to play a little closer to the other players. They have to, just be tighter in coverage and force some incomplete passes. There's no reason that Matt Ryan with these receivers should be 8 of 11, 9 of 12 for 95 yards. Because our secondary, even with the injuries, and our pass rush should be outplaying the Atlanta Falcons wide receiver core. As on 1st and 10 at the own 11, Matt Ryan drops back, throws a pass to Kyle Pitts, who catches it and is dropped at the 20-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons, picking up 9 yards on the play. But it looks like on 2nd and 1, there's a holding penalty against Anthony Pittman that will push the Atlanta Falcons back to 2nd and 11 after a really good tackle for no gain on that play anyway. So it would have been 3rd and 1, but with the penalty, it's now 2nd and 11. Michael Brockers has actually returned. I just saw him make that play on 2nd and 1, dropping Cordero Patterson short of the line to gain. And the Lions now on 2nd and 11 will be retaking the field. Michael Brockers is back out there with Charles Harris, as is Jalen Reeves-Maybin, who combined for the tackle. But even pushing the Cardinals back, even pushing the Falcons back to 2nd and 11, that is not going to stop Kyle Pitts, who gets his 4th reception on the day while being covered by Ifeatu Melifonwu, who has been actually shadowing Kyle Pitts for a lot of the football game. Kyle Pitts gets his 4th reception on the day over Ifeatu Melifonwu. Not really, Ife's fault. Not really Ife's fault. Just kind of the way the play was designed. It looked like Ifeatu was maybe playing zone and just kind of saw Kyle Pitts over the middle and took it. Barely grazed the fingertips of Jalen Reeves-Maybin. Barely got over his fingers, and Ifeatu Melifonwu had to step up and make the tackle. It wasn't really a completion against him, more so than just the play was kind of schemed away from him, and he never really had a chance. But it's not like he was beaten off the line of scrimmage, so nothing too negative to take away there. The Lions on 1st down, Austin Bryant sheds a block and drops Cordero Patterson for a very minimal gain, bringing up 2nd and 8 for the Atlanta Falcons on their first drive of the second half of this ball game. And Austin Bryant just threw Kyle Pitts out of the way to make this tackle. Really good athletic play, showing off the strength that he's been working on over the past couple of years. And this is what Austin Bryant brings to the table when he is fully healthy. He's a guy that, is strong, is powerful, can rush the passer really well. And as long as he's on the field, he can be an asset in your defense. Now, Kyle Pitts is matched up against Ifeatu Melifonwu down on the boundary, and it looks like after a little bit of a push-off, Kyle Pitts is going to make a long reception against Ifeatu Melifonwu and is going to pick up another big first down for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, it looked like there was a little bit of pass interference. Ify was with him the whole time, and it looks like he pushed off right at the end. And, unfortunately, again, wasn't really called on the Detroit Lions. It looked to me like he pushed off and had pass interference, but the refs are not calling a lot of pass interference. They haven't called it on the Falcons all day, and I don't know. There hasn't been a pass interference called yet on the day. So hopefully the Lions can take advantage of that. Hopefully they call it both ways, and if the Lions are being a little aggressive, they can do that, as the Lions force an incompletion on the first down play, broken up by both Jalen Reeves-Maybin and Anthony Pittman. But there is a flag on the field. and we will see what this flag is. They're focusing on Anthony Pittman right now, so it is likely that the flag is on the Detroit Lions. I don't know what it would be for because that looked like a really good pass breakup to me, but it looks – oh, the ref actually says there is no flag on the play. Bring it up, third down for the Atlanta Falcons, although he said third down, but it is second down. It looks like they were maybe going to call a unnecessary roughness on Anthony Pittman, but they decided after further review it was not roughing the passer because Anthony Pittman very, very lightly grazed number 17 of the Falcons. Now, number 13 of the Falcons is in motion on the offense for 2nd and 10, and they are going to have a short play action pass as Matt Ryan completes it to 13, but he is very swiftly tackled by number 41, A.J. Parker, bringing up a 3rd and 5 for the Detroit Lions at their own 30-yard line. The Lions could really use a stand right here. If the Lions can hold the Falcons to 13 points, if they can hold them to a field goal on this drive, it will give their offense a much better opportunity to go down and retake the lead. If the Lions can hold them to a field goal here, it would be obviously much preferred to a touchdown and could be a pretty decent momentum swinger if they can keep the Atlanta Falcons behind the chains on this play. Kyle Pitts is in motion. Nobody is pressed against him, so that's probably where they're going to go. They send a blitz. They come home and very narrowly get to the quarterback. Matt Ryan just gets the football away before Jalen Reeves-Maybin puts him on his back, but the ball falls incomplete. Tracy Walker picks it up just in case, and the Detroit Lions defense, yet again on 3rd down, gets off the field after a very timely blitz by Jalen Reeves-Maybin and this Detroit Lions defense. 43, not Eric Berry, but number 43, Berry, was also in on the pressure. Both he and Jalen Reeves-Maybin collided on Matt Ryan as he released the football. They call it an incomplete pass. The Falcons will attempt the field goal. And of course, being one of the best young kickers in the NFL, Young Hoku will make the 48-yard attempt, extending and retaking the Falcons' lead by a score of 13-10. But it was a very narrowly made field goal. He was kind of snuck it into the left post there, but it went in, so there's no complaints by the Falcons players. The Falcons take the lead yet again by a score of 13-10, and the Lions will retake the field on offense in just a moment after this commercial break. So, that drive, there was a couple of big plays. I think you definitely have to stop Kyle Pitts. That has to be the Lions' number one option right now to stop. If you stop Kyle Pitts, you're going to stop this Falcons offense because their only real wide receiver is Kyle Pitts. He has 5 receptions for 83 yards, including that big one down the boundary. And the Lions, in my opinion, need to focus all of their attention on stopping Kyle Pitts because he's the only wide receiver and really the only weapon that has hurt the Detroit Lions through the air, right? Mike Davis has 16 yards. Cordero Patterson has 13 yards. Matt Ryan has 3 on the ground. You look at this game, number 17 for the Atlanta Falcons has just 32 yards. Russell Gage has 1 for 15. Marvin Hall has 1 for 10. Hayden Hurst has 1 for 9. Christian Blake has 1 for 5. Kyle Pitts has 5 receptions for 83 yards. The Lions' biggest problem right now is Kyle Pitts. And next time the Lions defense takes the field, I would like to see Kyle Pitts be doubled by Tracy Walker and Ifeatu Melifonwu, the 2 biggest safeties, 2 biggest secondary members on the field. I trust A.J. Parker matched up one-on-one. I'm not sure about Will Harris, but, you got to give him credit until he proves you wrong. And so far, he hasn't made too many poor plays in this game for me to say that I can't trust him as a cornerback. I think you double Kyle Pitts. You make Russell Gage. You make Marvin Hall. You make, Olamide Zaccheaus. I don't know how to say this name. You make him, you beat Russell Gage, you make Marvin Hall and Hayden Hurst beat you on the boundaries, and you don't let Kyle Pitts continue his day of dominance. You don't let Kyle Pitts continue to beat you over the top. You don't continue to let him get over the middle and get easy chunk yardage plays without, being contested, without having those contested hits and those contested catches. You make it hard for them to complete passes over the middle. You give Kyle Pitts and Matt Ryan some heavy traffic to work through. You give them less opportunity and less open looks. And as a defense, I think taking away Kyle Pitts right now is going to force the Atlanta Falcons to adapt. And I don't think they have the talent right now to adapt to Kyle Pitts not being a viable option for them. Now we are back from commercial break. And it seems as though the Atlanta Falcons will be kicking this ball off to the Atlanta Falcons here in just a minute, as long snapper Josh Harris for the Falcons was just selected to his very first Pro Bowl. That's interesting to see. And it looks like the Lions will take the ball at their own 25 after a touchback from the opening kickoff. So the Lions offense will take the field. I don't have a ton of information right now. The Lions, I'd like to see offensively. I mean, I'd like to see some more deep shots. I'd like to see, just overall, one, keep getting Amon-Ra the ball. Number two, keep getting Jamal Williams the football. And just, do what you're doing, right? Continue to do what's been working for you, because the Lions, although they're losing, aren't out of this game. They're down 3 points. They're down by one possession. They need to do what they did in the first half, and that's bleed the clock, be methodical, and that is just, do what they've been doing well all game, and that's running the football with Jamal Williams, getting Amon-Ra St. Brown open looks in the middle of the field in shallow crosses and slant routes. Get your playmakers the ball and let them make you plays. And again, first play of the second drive, and that's exactly what the Lions do. They give the ball to Jamal Williams. They have 6 linemen on the field, and they eventually, they pick up that first down. So I really like the first down call. Let's see what they do on second down. It looks like they give the ball to Jamal Williams again. Less of an exciting carry, but Jamal Williams, after breaking a tackle in the backfield, does surge ahead for a 1-yard pickup. Jamal Williams isn't doing that bad right now. I mean, obviously averaging like 4 yards a carry, 4.2, I believe, yards per carry on the day, after actually picking up 2 yards on that first down attempt. But I don't know. I like Jamal Williams, and I think he deserves some touches. I just really think that in the same vein with, the way that Craig Reynolds has been playing the last couple of weeks, you got to give Craig Reynolds the ball. As on 2nd and 8, Tim Boyle completes a pass to Khalif Raymond and picks up and gets the Detroit Lions to 3rd and manageable, gets them to 3rd and 2 on their own 43-yard line. If I'm the Lions, I'm giving this ball to a running back. I don't really care if it's Craig Reynolds or Jamal Williams, because both of them have been playing pretty well, but you give the ball to a running back, you let your offensive line push the ball forward, and you let your offensive line get you this new set of downs. Now, I can't see exactly which running back is out there. Craig Reynolds is the running back to the side of Tim Boyle. And they are going to hand it to Craig Reynolds. They're going to trust the rookie running back. And because of that trust, they are going to pick up a first down after really, Grady Jarrett absolutely, shot out of a cannon on that. Came out and penetrated the pocket really well, almost made a tackle for loss, but Craig Reynolds cut outside and, just pushed his way for the first down. It was a really good defensive play by Grady Jarrett, but in the same vein, Craig Reynolds just made a little bit of a better play, and the Lions extend this drive. And again, on 1st and 10, Craig Reynolds gets the ball again and gets up to the 50-yard line after a 4-yard rush. Actually, it's a screen pass to Craig Reynolds and his first reception of the game as he gets up to the 50-yard line and brings up a 2nd and 6 for the Detroit Lions. Tackled once again by Foyesade Oluwakan. Craig Reynolds, I believe, is now coming off the field and will substitute with Jamal Williams. He's 195 rushing yards in the last 2 weeks, 2nd in the NFL, only behind Dalvin Cook. It is the 2nd most rushing yards in the first 2 career starts as a Detroit Lions running back, as on 2nd and 5, the Detroit Lions hand the ball to Jamal Williams, who goes nowhere, and it brings up a 3rd and 5 at the Atlanta Falcons 50-yard line, 50 and a half, I guess, if you want to be really specific. But Jamal Williams breaks the tackle in the backfield, gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe picks up a half a yard, and did really a good job not to lose yardage on that game, or did a really good job not to lose yardage on that play. But again, big play wasn't made, and unfortunately, Jamal Williams is coming out of the game again as Craig Reynolds takes another snap at the starting running back position. And we're going to see on 3rd and 5 whether the Detroit Lions can make a play and whether or not the Detroit Lions can pick up this first down. Khalif Raymond actually is looking at the running back position. They fake the handoff to Khalif Raymond. They hand the ball off to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown picks up the first down on it looks like maybe 13 or a 14-yard carry from the line of scrimmage. They've used that play earlier in the game. It picked up 7 yards and a first down in the first quarter, and they call that play again as Amon-Ra St. Brown, if it will ever load, picks up another big-time first down for the Detroit Lions, passing midfield. It looks like there might be an injury on the field as both Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tim Boyle are taking a knee, and the Detroit Lions will extend their drive with a first down and obviously hope and pray that whoever is being injured on the play or whoever was injured on the play is completely fine. Yep, Amon-Ra St. Brown, a 12-yard carry, in fact, for a first down, getting down to the Atlanta Falcons 37-yard line and extending this drive even further, and just getting into Riley Patterson's field goal range. This is around the range Riley Patterson is good for field goals. So hopefully the Lions can convert on a touchdown. Hopefully they can get another first down or two and get their way into the end zone. But if not, they are inching closer to Riley Patterson's field goal range for him to have an opportunity to tie the football game up at 13-13 late into the third quarter. Now, I don't know who was injured on the play. I didn't see. What I did see was Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tim Boyle both just taking a knee and showing respects to the player that was injured. I don't know if it was a Lion. I don't know if it was a Falcon. I'm not entirely sure who the injured player was, but we are going to come back to it in just a moment. And as soon as I find out, I'm going to let you guys know who the injured player was as soon as he gets off the field and as soon as he is okay. But I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown has now 8 touches for, what would that be? 7 and then 12, so 19 on top of 54. That would be about 70-ish yards of scrimmage and a touchdown on 7 or 8 touches. Pretty good day for the rookies so far. Again, Amon-Ra has been a huge focal point of the offense really since about the Thanksgiving game, I would say. Really has had, just some standout performances. He's been a guy that averages like 8 to 10 receptions a game, averages anywhere between 70 and 100 yards a game, and has over the last 2 games and 3 of the last 4 does have a touchdown. And when Amon-Ra St. Brown plays well, the Detroit Lions play well, and the Lions are undefeated when Amon-Ra St. Brown does score a touchdown. So I'm not saying we're guaranteed a win today, but I think the odds are pretty good if Amon-Ra St. Brown is scoring us some touchdowns. Now we are back as, unfortunately, Shane Zylstra, the 6'4", 230-pound rookie tight end, is being taken off in the cart. They were showing respects to their teammates, and they are re-showing the play right now. He was a lead blocker on this play, and it looks like the center in Evan Brown got tripped up and actually fell on the knee of Shane Zylstra. And just the knee was not supposed to bend that way. The Lions, though, on the first play back, do go deep to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who makes his 7th reception of the game for 78 yards and picks up a big first down off a 24-yard completion from Tim Boyle. But as I was saying, it looks like the starting center, Evan Brown, just fell on the knee of Shane Zylstra, and it looks pretty bad. He was taken off in a cart, couldn't even get up to walk, couldn't even get up to see the trainer. It's probably a torn ACL, MCL, some kind of severe knee injury if he couldn't even walk off the field. But again, he's definitely out for the game, and I will update you if an official injury report comes back. As on 1st and 10, the Detroit Lions do false start. Taylor Decker jumps just a little bit early, and the Lions are backed up to 1st and 15. And the Lions really this week, the biggest thing for them, they've been hurting themselves. They've had, I think, 3 false starts now at this point, 1 on Taylor Decker, 1 on Penei Sewell, and 1 on, obviously, Shane Zylstra, who just left the game with an injury. They've had a couple of holdings. They've been hurting themselves this game with the penalties. And, they're still in this game, obviously. They're nowhere near being out of this game. But if they didn't have those penalties, they could have extended drives much better, stayed on the field much easier, and they could have made their lives a lot better in this football game without all the penalties, as Craig Reynolds on 1st and 15 gets a 2-yard carry up to the Atlanta Falcons 16-yard line. But the Lions need to stop it with the penalties. They need to, Dan Campbell needs to just control this. And I'm not saying it's Dan Campbell's fault or anything, because penalties happen, right? As again, Brock Wright, another false start on the day. The Lions are just hurting themselves. Now backing up to a 2nd and 18 on the play and just barely backing out of the Atlanta Falcons red zone. They need to stop hurting themselves. They are not a good enough team where they can play against themselves and the other team at the same time. They simply can't do it, and there are not many teams in the NFL that can commit this many turnovers and win consistently in the NFL. And the Lions are certainly not one of them. They have to quit hurting themselves. They have to quit backing themselves up and putting themselves in tighter and tighter spaces, because right now, you go from a promising drive, 1st and 10 in the red zone, to now 2nd and 18 outside of the red zone with, again, huge plays to back it up. And I believe Jamal Williams ends up fumbling this football. I doubt it's a 3rd and 72, 3rd and 78. What happens? 3rd and 18. Jamal Williams gets the football and gets down. I don't know what I'm not entirely sure what the screen is saying. I thought they maybe fumbled the ball. They did not. It is now 3rd down and 16 on the play, not 3rd down and 78. A little bit of a weird graphic thing going on right now. They're having a little bit of trouble with it. But on 3rd and 16, it does look like the Detroit Lions will target Amon-Ra St. Brown, but the ball will fall incomplete to the turf. Not sure what that graphic was with the negative 3rd and 78, because that would be extremely improbable. But I thought we fumbled, so I was really nervous. So the fact that we kept the ball is okay with me. Target, just really more of a throwaway by Tim Boyle, not really giving Amon-Ra a chance, as he was being double teamed on the play. Means there was probably somebody open somewhere else, as the Minnesota Vikings actually score a touchdown to bring their game versus the LA Rams back within 3 points, as Riley Patterson hits his 2nd field goal on the day, hits a 37-yard field goal maybe at that point to bring and retie the game back up at 13-13 with just 3 minutes and 6 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Right down the middle yet again. Was there ever any doubt with Riley Patterson? The answer is, of course, no. Looking at scores across the NFL, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are taking on the Carolina Panthers, as there are some words exchanged between Big V and number 59 of the Atlanta Falcons. There's a little bit of extracurricular, but it seems to be all settled, and everybody seems to be okay without any penalties. Looking at scores around the league, Tampa Bay is currently leading 19-6 over the Carolina Panthers. Baltimore is trailing the Cincinnati Bengals by a score of 31-14, and Cincinnati does have the football back. The Chargers are currently trailing to the Houston Texans, who are winning by a score of 17-15, as well as they have the ball. The LA Rams are currently defeating the Minnesota Vikings 13-10, but the Minnesota Vikings are getting the football back as they just started a fresh drive at 1st and 10 at their own 12. Buffalo is currently beating New England by a score of 20-3, and will likely add on to that score in just a moment, as they are at 4th and 14 on the New England 16. Jacksonville is losing to the New York Jets by a score of 16-12, but Jacksonville did just get the football back. New York is currently trailing Philadelphia by a score of 10-3, and of course the rest of the games are yet to be played yet. Now, the only really interesting games as of right now to note would be the Houston versus LA Chargers game. If Houston wins this game and the Detroit Lions lose, then never mind. If Houston loses and the Lions win, the Houstons will get the number 2 overall pick. But if Houston wins, then the Detroit Lions, at the worst, or at the best, I guess, will stay at the 2nd overall pick in the NFL draft. And the only games that really concern the Detroit Lions right now are the LA game, the Los Angeles Chargers game, where the Houston Texans are currently winning, the LA game, where the Los Angeles Rams are currently winning, and the Jacksonville game, where Jacksonville is currently losing, and they are down by 4 points midway, or actually towards the end of the 3rd quarter. Now, if you're asking me who I would rather win this game, if it's up to me, I would rather the Detroit Lions win this game and have, Jacksonville win this game as well. In the perfect scenario, Jacksonville wins. well, I guess Jacksonville doesn't really matter, but in a perfect world, Houston wins, Detroit wins, and the Lions get another win on the season, build some more momentum, win 2 games in a row while keeping their second overall pick. Now, if I say that and I sound like I want the pick more than I want the win, that is not true. I am willing to sacrifice a draft pick in order to get another win on the season, and I will always feel that way. Maybe the last game of the season you say, okay, maybe you don't need to win that game, but especially with 3 games left, you're fighting for every single yard. You're fighting for every single win as Cordero Patterson returns the ball to the 29-yard line for the Atlanta Falcons. There's some more talking as Tracy Walker has a couple of choice words for Cordero Patterson, but no penalties, no extracurriculars as Kyle Pitts takes the field yet again. And as I mentioned before, the Lions need to double Kyle Pitts. They need to make somebody else beat them. Kyle Pitts is the first rookie tight end in NFL history with 60-plus catches and 900-plus yards. Right now, he has the second most receiving yards by a rookie tight end in NFL history, being just 106 yards behind Mike Ditka of the Chicago Bears. Now, on 1st and 10, the Atlanta Falcons are going to have a 9-yard rush by Mike Davis. Really good rush. I mean, pretty good hole opened up by the Atlanta Falcons offensive line. Tracy Walker did good stepping down to make the secure tackle, and Austin Bryant joined him in getting Mike Davis on the ground. I mean, overall, really good run by Mike Davis. He hasn't had the greatest day, averaging, 5 yards a carry isn't bad, but at the same time, he's only had 5 attempts on the day. Matt Ryan completes another pass to extend the drive and get a fresh set of downs for the Falcons, completing a pass up to, or maybe he runs the ball. Yeah, looks like Matt Ryan's just going to sneak this ball for the first down. Matt Ryan, 12 of 17 for 153 yards on the day. Has been pretty solid. Hasn't been a bad quarterback at all, and actually completes another pass on this upcoming 1st and 10 to Mike Davis for another 7-yard reception, and will extend the drive and put the Falcons in very favorable 2nd and 3 at their own 48 as they approach midfield. Now it's just a little bit of a check down, and it looks like Jalen Reeves-Maybin is going to miss the tackle, and Anzalone and Anthony Pittman and Bobby Price are going to have to come together to make the tackle. Now, I'm not sure why Bobby Price is out playing cornerback. I don't know if one of them got hurt. I don't know if they are starting him now over Will Harris after Will Harris was blocked off the ball on that 9-yard run. Although it does look like Will Harris is on the field, it does look like Iffy is on the field. The only one I'm not seeing right now is A.J. Parker, as it looks like Will Harris is starting in the slot right now in place of A.J. Parker, as on 2nd and 3, the Atlanta Falcons will run the ball for a 3-yard gain and will get a fresh set of downs at the Detroit Lions 49-yard line. Now, the Lions, they've been playing some pretty good defense. I mean, they haven't allowed a lot of rushing yardage today. The rushing attack for the Falcons largely hasn't been there. And for the Lions, the rushing attack has been kind of inconsistent. They've gotten some big plays through the rushing game. You know, Jamal Williams had that 15-yard carry. He averages about 5 yards per carry right now, or very close to it. 5.2 maybe. But, you know, he hasn't really gotten that big play. He's got one like 10, 15-yard rush, but other than that, nothing crazy. They're being a little inconsistent, as on this 2nd down, it is an incomplete pass to number 14 in Russell Gage, very nearly intercepted by number 55, Derek Barnes, the 4th-round rookie linebacker. But, you know, he beat Will Harris to the inside, made a decent move outside. Probably should have been a reception, but if he caught it, Tracy Walker would have, hit him pretty hard. And it doesn't even matter, because on 2nd down and 10, they complete a pass right back to Russell Gage, who picks up the 1st down. And the Detroit Lions, they're bending a little bit. They haven't broken yet, only allowed 3 points in this quarter, and hopefully they can get a takeaway or force 0 points on the board for the Atlanta Falcons. But as of right now, on 2nd and 10, Matt Ryan drops back with a little bit of pressure from Jalen Reeves-Maybin, but Will Harris yet again gets beat to the outside by Russell Gage. And that's going to happen when you're playing a starting safety at cornerback, right? He's not a fluid cornerback. Right now, I prefer Bobby Price over him just because Bobby Price is more athletic. And it seems like A.J. Parker is not currently on the field. I'm not sure where A.J. Parker is at the moment. But Iffy and Bobby Price are on the boundary, with Will Harris still manning the slot cornerback position for the Detroit Lions, as it looks like there is a timeout on the field. I believe the Atlanta Falcons are taking their first official timeout, or that was weird, because it looked like the Falcons were going to snap the ball, and then the official came in and told them no, and then they just let the clock run out and go to the fourth quarter. So the Lions are going into this fourth quarter tied with the Atlanta Falcons 13-13. The Atlanta Falcons are driving on the day. They're driving on, this set of downs, and on this drive, they are making their way down the field with seemingly ease. And the Detroit Lions need a big play. They need a sack. They need a strip. They need a forced fumble of some kind, or better yet, they need a big-time interception by number 26, the rookie, to kind of seize momentum back in this game. They've kept this game very close. They haven't been able to convert every single time for touchdowns. They haven't been able to, have their best performances of the year this week. But at the end of the day, the Lions are going into the fourth quarter versus the Arizona Cardinals, tied 13-13 in a low-scoring game. And if the Lions can hold the Falcons to a field goal right here and have a really, really long 8-9 minute drive that can put a touchdown in the end zone, that could be all we need after, a long, hard-fought game, right? The Lions right now are in a position to win the game. Tim Boyle's playing pretty well. Jamal Williams is playing pretty well. Amon-Ra St. Brown is playing pretty well, and I would expect him to get more and more and more receptions and more touches on the day, especially with it being such a tight and such a close game. I'm sorry for the background noise, but I would expect with such a close game, such a tough, close, hard-fought battle, I would expect 14 to get the ball 5-6 more times in this game, 5-6 more times in this quarter. And I would expect him to be a big playmaker. I'd hope he gets over 100 yards today. Maybe he gets the game-winning touchdown for another week in this season, gets his fourth receiving touchdown of his career and of the season. I don't know. I'd expect Amon-Ra to be a big part of this offense, but right now the Lions need a turnover. The Lions need something to seize back momentum, whether it be, big time sack or a, turnover of some kind, even if it's just a mistake by the Atlanta Falcons, right? A drop pass that you maybe pick up for an interception, or just a tipped ball that you get for an interception, as the Falcons on 1st and 10 have Russell Gage and find Russell Gage short for a 7-yard reception. The Lions need to keep the Falcons out of the end zone. With everything they're doing, they're bending a little bit, they're giving up some yardage underneath. What they can't do is break and give up the big touchdown, right? Play action, there's a blitz coming. Matt Ryan is under pressure, which is something the Lions have done very well all day, but another reception is given up out of the slot by Will Harris to Russell Gage. And honestly, I don't know what happened to A.J. Parker. I haven't seen an injury report for him, as Cordero Patterson on a rushing attempt is tackled for a 2-yard loss by Nick Williams, which is a big play the Lions absolutely needed. Hopefully they can do something with that 3rd and 5 opportunity. But, Dean Marlowe now looks like he will be playing in, maybe just a safety that stepped down. But A.J. Parker is back on the field, and Will Harris is back at the boundary as the Falcons run, and Jalen Reeves-Maybin meets Cordero Patterson in the hole, and Nick Williams finishes it for a 2-yard loss, bringing up 3rd and 5 for the Detroit Lions at their 31-yard line. 3rd and 5. Third down defense is going to be big on this play. They're not great on the season, I believe ranking 29th in the NFL, but if they can get a big stop here, it'd go a long ways towards helping this Lions team walk out with another Detroit Lions victory. Really good play by the Lions. I mean, obviously, I spoke a little bit too soon, as it seems like A.J. Parker is going to get beat on the inside for a little bit of a bigger route. That was not A.J. Parker, but A.J. Parker did make the tackle. Kyle Pitts again making the Detroit Lions suffer, and I mean he's the only weapon that's really hurting the Detroit Lions right now. And Will Harris, the cornerback and the safety that's been struggling the absolute most in this game, was matched up one-on-one versus Kyle Pitts. It was a zone cover, so it wasn't all his fault, but on the very next play, the Detroit Lions do give up a touchdown to Hayden Hurst. And the Lions offense needs to respond now. They need to go down the field. They need to score a touchdown. I don't care how they do it. It doesn't have to be pretty, but they need to go and score another touchdown in this game. The Lions defense has played pretty solid all year. Charles Harris, not a pass coverage guy, got caught in a bad situation against the receiving tight end in Hayden Hurst. Matchup 9 times out of 10 is going to go to Hayden Hurst. And the Falcons retake the lead by a score of 19-13. And hopefully, just hopefully, the Detroit Lions can respond on offense. Hopefully, Tim Boyle is able to, throw some good passes down the field. Hopefully, he's able to find St. Brown down the field a couple more times. And hopefully, the Lions will just stop hurting themselves with all of these penalties. Although that touchdown is going to be reviewed. Maybe, I guess not. It looks like his foot is very close to the boundary, but they do call it officially a touchdown. And the Falcons hit the extra point to extend their lead 13-20. Now, the Lions offense has taken the field again. They haven't scored a touchdown since middle of the second quarter. They haven't been a very prolific offense today, but they need Tim Boyle to play well right now. He hasn't played bad all week. He hasn't played bad all game, but he's been conservative. He hasn't taken those shots down the field. And the Lions, if Tim Boyle can be a little bit more aggressive on the field, if the Lions can just stop hurting themselves with all of the penalties, they absolutely have an opportunity to go down and to tie this game up. I mean, hopefully take a lot of time off the clock as well. Hopefully, the Lions, in an ideal world, in an absolutely ideal world, they'd take out 13 minutes and 4 seconds, score a touchdown, and score a 2-pointer. But I'd say ideally right now, if the Lions can take 7 minutes off the clock, if they can get it down to about, what would that be, 5? Not 5. I don't know, if they can take like 7-ish minutes off the clock, bringing it like to 7-8 minutes on the game, and then obviously the Atlanta Falcons have that opportunity. They stop the Atlanta Falcons, gives them an opportunity again to go down and score points and win this game. I'd expect the Lions to take a little bit of time off the clock, but they can't take too much because of the way the Atlanta Falcons offense has been playing today. But even that touchdown given up, it's just a mismatch, right? It wasn't even that Aaron Glenn called a bad play. It was just that you got a pass rusher who recognized that there was going to be somebody wide open in the flat, and he got matched up versus a receiving tight end. And Matt Ryan, the veteran, the former MVP, identified that. He gave his tight end a chance, and the receiving tight end outplayed the pass rushing linebacker. It happens. Not really that bad of a play by Charles Harris. He was in position to make the play. He got his hands up. He just didn't quite make contact with the football, and the Atlanta Falcons extend their lead with the extra point after the touchdown. But the Lions are not out of this game yet. Tim Boyle hasn't been great. Has been efficient, sure, but hasn't really made the big play down the field that we'd like to see. I'd like to see some more deep shots down the field. I'm not talking you just chuck it and hope, but 15-yard concepts, 20-yard concepts down the field to get behind some linebackers, to get behind some secondary players, right? Create some chaos in the backfield or create some chaos in the secondary, have two people in the same area and, obviously make that secondary make some decisions, find those holes in the zone coverage. The Lions can absolutely drive down the field at this point. They absolutely can. I'm not even sure if Charles Harris was supposed to be. I think that was maybe Ifeatu Melifonwu's role, as Ifeatu got kind of stuck. Yeah, Ifeatu took Kyle Pitts down the seam, and it wasn't a bad play by Ifeatu. Hayden Hurst went out into the flats at first, so he identified that and took the most dangerous threat. And the Lions actually get a pretty good return as Godwin Igwebuike looks to return it to the Detroit Lions 26-yard line, giving them an extra yardage from what it would have been as a touchback. But, there's not a bad play by Ifeatu. He identified the most dangerous player on the field at the time, which was Kyle Pitts. They doubled Kyle Pitts with Ifeatu and the safety. And, Charles Harris was then just matched up in the flat versus Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst cut up field, and again, pass rusher on a tight end, a lot of the times it's not going to go very well. 1st and 10 at the Lions 26. Tim Boyle completes a 2-yard pass to Khalif Raymond and then proceeds to get tackled by AJ Terrell and Dante Fowler on a little bit of a screen pass. I don't mind the first play. Khalif Raymond, a very explosive guy, could definitely take, any big play to the house. But I mean, I think you got to be aggressive. And Dan Campbell all week was preaching that, Tim Boyle will not hinder this offense. Right now, it looks like Tim Boyle is hindering the offense. It looks like they're not comfortable throwing deep. As I say that, they complete a 23-yard catch to Craig Reynolds, to Josh Reynolds. But it just seems like, they're not as comfortable throwing deep with Tim Boyle as they were with Jared Goff last week. Jared Goff had a couple really good deep shots that went for big yardage, right? The one to Josh Reynolds, the one to Amon-Ra St. Brown, in the Minnesota Vikings game, had a couple 20, 30-yard passes to the tight ends. It just doesn't feel like they're comfortable going down the field with Tim Boyle at quarterback. And of course, as I say it, the Detroit Lions but they get a big play through the air to Josh Reynolds. And even that ball, though, was behind Josh Reynolds. And I think maybe Tim Boyle placed it there on purpose so he wouldn't have to take as big of a hit if he let him across the middle. But even that ball was slightly behind Josh Reynolds. As on 1st and 10, as the Lions cross midfield, Jamal Williams gets the football on the ground, stiff arms Deion Jones out of bounds, and gets up to the Atlanta Falcons 42 on a 7-yard carry. Says, sit down, little boy, whatever he wants to say. Has a couple choice words for Deion Jones as they pass each other going back to the huddle. But Jamal Williams gets his second carry in a row, gets it up to a 3rd and 1 after a 2-yard rushing attempt by the veteran running back. And on 3rd and 1, I would like to see the Lions do the same exact thing they did on 1st and 2nd down, and that would be run the football. I don't care if it's 46. I don't care if it's 30. I don't even really care if it's 35. I just want the Lions to run the ball, keep the ball on the ground, and do what they've been doing well, and that has been converting yardage and getting big plays on the day. And it looks like the Lions are going to do that, as this says Jamal Williams has 14 carries for 58 yards, but the rushing and the game leader says he has 15 for 65. So it looks like Jamal Williams might get a 7-yard carry here. We'll wait and see. And in fact, well, he doesn't get a 7-yard carry, but, he picks up the first down with a 3-yard run. So he right now has 16 carries for 68 yards, as he does fight very hard and pushes the defensive tackle forward to pick up the first down. They help each other up. They pat each other on the helmets, and they say, good job, and they get back to the huddle. No extracurriculars there. Actually, a lot of respect, which is something I don't think we've seen a lot today. But the Detroit Lions, again, on first down, they have a false start. And as the quarterback, I'm not entirely sure how you false start because, you kind of know the snap count unless he was expecting the center to snap it. But, yeah, it looks like he was expecting the center to snap it, was ready to back up. Fourth false start penalty on the day for the Detroit Lions, and it's hurting them. I mean, now they're backed up to a 1st and 15. Yes, they have 9 minutes and 51 seconds. Yes, they still have a first down. They can pick up big yardage, but the Lions' penalties is just the biggest reason why they cannot seem to find the end zone. Like, they get a big play, they pick up a big first down, and then they get, a false start, and it brings them back. As Amon-Ra St. Brown on 1st and 15 gets his 8th reception of the day, getting up to 83 yards in that receiving category. But it's just the penalties. The penalties are hurting the Lions. Tim Boyle drops back, delivers a pretty good strike to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is immediately met by number 3 of the Atlanta Falcons. And, gets back to 2nd and 10. Solid pickup early on the drive after, a good solid 5-yard pickup after a really poor start to the drive. And, 2nd and 10, they give the ball to Craig Reynolds, gets 3rd and 6, another 4-yard pickup. And I think the Lions are managing this part pretty well, right? They back up early. They're not too, worried about it. They get 5 yards in the first play, 4 yards in the second play, right? They're still doing and running the offense the way they want to, and they're not panicking under pressure when they do make these mistakes. But, without the mistakes, the Lions right now are at 3rd and 1 with a really manageable 3rd down. But with the penalty, now it's 3rd and 6 with a much more difficult 3rd down for the Detroit Lions to convert on. And if they do convert on it, good for them. But they're just making their lives harder. They're making these drives harder. As Craig Reynolds on 3rd and 6 gets 5 yards, that would have been good enough for a first down without the penalty. But with the penalty, it's not good for a first down. And if 4th down in their own territory, I would expect the Lions to go for this. And, in my opinion, you don't run the ball on third down, and he looked like he might have even gotten it. If I'm Dan Campbell, I'm asking for them to measure because it looks like he might reach at the very, very end. Addison Marinelli says no 28 today. It's early. If the Lions score 2 with a 2-point conversion, they can still get to 28 pretty easily. But 4th down and 1 for the Detroit Lions. It looks like the offense is going to stay on the field, and it does look like the ball is going to be placed just inches short of the line to gain. They're keeping their offense out there. Dan Campbell's waving the offense on. And on 4th down and 1, Jamal Williams gets his 17th carry of the game and gets just a 1-yard pickup, but converts, gets to the line to gain, and breaks a tackle, actually. But at the end of the day, doesn't matter if it's a sloppy run, doesn't matter if it's 1 yard. If it picks up your first down and extends your drive, that's what he gets paid to do. He does a little dance, points to the first down marker, and taunts a little bit of the Atlanta Falcons. The Lions convert on 4th down and get a fresh set of downs and move the chains. Pretty good play design by the Detroit Lions. A lot of Falcons players were in the middle. They sent a lot of bodies up the middle, so the Lions decided to go outside. And when you have a big running back like Jamal Williams versus a small cornerback in A.J. Terrell, a lot of the time, A.J. Terrell will not make the tackle in one-on-one situations. Jamal Williams stepped up big, broke the tackle, and picked up the first down. The Lions, the very next play, flipped the ball back to Khalif Raymond, the speedy wide receiver, who then picks up and proceeds to pick up 5 yards, bringing up a 2nd and 5 for the Detroit Lions at the Atlanta Falcons 21-yard line. Lions currently have a 10-play drive for 53 yards, taking up 6 minutes and 46 seconds of the clock. They unfortunately do throw an incomplete pass towards Craig Reynolds on the 2nd down play, but it brings up 3rd and 5, and hopefully the Lions can convert on that. And right now, I am watching the 2nd and 5 play. It looks like Craig Reynolds is in the backfield. Tim Boyle drops back. And, throws a pretty poor ball, honestly, to Craig Reynolds. I did not like the choice there by Tim Boyle. Not a big fan of the play design, nor the throw that was actually made. I think if he throws it, low and away, you got a good chance. But he threw it high and inside and just really let the linebacker back into the play. And I was not a big fan of, again, contact early, but probably not enough for PI in that instance. Was not a big fan of that play to begin with. And on 3rd and 5, the Detroit Lions sit at the Atlanta Falcons 21, and they give Craig Reynolds the ball, and Craig Reynolds picks up 4 yards as Tim Boyle just checks the ball down to 46, says go make a play, and Craig Reynolds gets very close. The Lions, I would say, probably go for it here. If you don't get the ball here on 4th down, it's probably, I'm not going to say game over because 6 minutes is a long time to manage in the NFL. But, the Lions, if they convert here, I think they have a good chance of scoring. And if they don't, it's going to be really hard for the Detroit Lions to win this game if they don't convert this 4th down. But they do. The Lions convert the 4th down. It's actually a passing play to Khalif Raymond, who I believe makes his 3rd reception or at least 3rd touch of the ball game. They convert down to the Atlanta Falcons 13-yard line. And when everybody's looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown, number 11 stands up and says, hey, I'm wide open over the middle. Give me the football. I'm sitting down, and we are converting this 3rd down. I like the play call. It got a guy wide open in the middle. It backed up the linebackers, and Khalif Raymond, got a pretty good football. Tim Boyle delivered a great football across the middle. Didn't rocket it at him, but obviously he had, pretty good pace on the football, threw a very solid football. Khalif Raymond just sat down in between the zones, caught the football, and sat down with no risk of turning this football over, secured the pass. The pass was a little behind, but nothing Khalif Raymond couldn't bring in. It shows we can be a 7-9 win team next year no matter what. I agree. I think we can be even better than that. I think we can be 9 to 10 wins depending on the talent we bring in. But I think expectations for next year is absolutely 7 to 9, if not even better than that, because the Lions this year realistically could have been a 5 to 6 win team. They could be the Atlanta Falcons right now. Statistically, they are very similar to the Atlanta Falcons in a lot of categories. If you watch the pregame video this morning, it kind of showed statistically side by side, they're within 1 or 2 rankings in every single category, from points scored to yardage gained to turnovers forced. You look at any statistic, and the Lions and the Falcons are very similar right next to each other. And it just so happens the Lions have a really tough schedule, and the Atlanta Falcons don't. And on 2nd and 10, Tim Boyle is empty in the backfield, gets the football very narrowly with a delay of game, but gets the ball out to 14 and Amon-Ra St. Brown, who fumbles the ball, but it is called his forward momentum was stopped, so the ball was called dead on the Atlanta Falcons 5-yard line with just third down and 2 yards to go. Especially the year after next. I'm liking what I see. I absolutely like what I'm seeing with the Lions. 5-win team this year. They should be a 5 to 6 win team this year. Honestly, they should be. 7 next, and after that, it's expectation city. Yeah, it is. The Lions, they're setting themselves up for some high expectations. I mean, they're playing a good game, and they've been playing some good football for the past month and a half, as on 3rd and 2, Craig Reynolds is unfortunately dropped for a loss, bringing up 4th down and 5 for the Detroit Lions. And honestly, I don't know what you do here for the Lions. Usually I would say take the points, but with just 2 minutes and 38 seconds left, I don't know if you're going to have enough time to get the ball back. The Lions do end up taking the points. Riley Patterson hits his 3rd field goal of the game, bringing the game within 4 points and within 1 score. The Lions now, I think, have to, I don't know if you go for an onside kick here because there is 2 minutes and 30 seconds, 4 stoppages of the clock at the very least. I like that they went for points. Honestly, 4th and 6 is pretty hard to convert. You've converted, I think, 3 4th downs already today. Probably don't want to push your luck too much farther than that. You kick the field goal, you get your automatic points, and you trust your defense, who's, admittedly had ups and downs this year and had ups and downs this game. You ask them to go make you a play. You trust Aaron Glenn to get you a turnover. You trust, Austin Bryant to get you a sack. You trust Charles Harris, your best defensive player, to go get you a sack. You trust your players, and, hopefully you get the ball back, right? If the Lions get the ball back, they're down by 4 points. A touchdown wins the ball game for them. And the Lions have struggled to find the end zone today. Their only touchdown coming on a very, very questionable touchdown call by the referee, where Amon-Ra St. Brown maybe got the nose of the ball over the end zone. But, I mean, honestly, even as a Lions fan, I didn't think it was a touchdown. Now, would they have converted on the next play? Probably. They would have been at the 1-inch line, and, Tim Boyle, being the big quarterback that he is, could have just snuck the ball forward for a yard. But, I mean, if the Lions defense can stop them, it's a great call. If the Lions can't stop them, it's, the call that lost you the football game. And it's hard to imagine that taking points would lose you a football game. But, at that point, that might have been the play that ends it for the Lions if their defense can't stand up and make a play. Now, the Lions held the Atlanta Falcons to 0 points in not even 20 yards in the first quarter of play. The Atlanta Falcons have, kind of figured out some things since then. But if I'm Aaron Glenn, I'm telling my defense, stay as close and be as physical with these Atlanta Falcons as you can, right? You double team Kyle Pitts, who now has 100 receiving yards on the game. You double team him. You make somebody else beat you. You don't put your pass rushers in poor situations. You tell your team to be aggressive. You tell them to be up close with the wide receivers to create that contact, create that pressure. You send a blitzer to you, do what you did early in the game. Send 7, 8 guys in the box. You blitz the quarterback as much as you can, and you force Matt Ryan to make a quick, decisive throw. And if he can't do it, that's going to stop the clock. And if you send 7, 8 bodies in the box, it's going to be really hard for the Atlanta Falcons to run the ball when you have all those players flying around the box and, obviously shooting those gaps. It's going to be hard for them to run, and it's going to be hard for them to pass protect if you send more players than they have blockers. Now, Jack Fox does end up kicking this ball off. It is not an onside kick, but it does go out of the back of the end zone for a touchback, and the Falcons will take the ball at the 25-yard line. Jack Fox not having a big day as a punter, but having a pretty big day as a kickoff specialist. He has hasn't really allowed a return yet, other than maybe a big one from Cordero Patterson, the kickoff before. Jack Fox is staying busy. He has, I believe, 5 punts maybe, but he has 2 touchbacks. 5 kickoffs, 2 touchbacks. Not too bad. but the Lions special teams has been playing really well. As on 1st and 10, the Lions corral Cordero Patterson to just a 3-yard gain on the first play. I mean, that's how you want to start your drive if you're the Detroit Lions, right? The Falcons are going to look to run the ball, and they're going to look to bleed the clock, and you allow minimal yardage, right? If you allow 3 yards a gain, you're going to get the football back in 3 plays. So I like the first down play for the Detroit Lions. It brings up a 2nd and 7. The Lions' run defense for a large majority of the day has been looking really, really good. And if they can continue to do that, their run defense can continue to play at the high level they've been at all day, then they are going to have an opportunity to get this football back to the offense. It's going to be up to Tim Boyle to put this ball in the end zone and to win this game for the Detroit Lions. Now, Tim Boyle's on the sideline going over some plays, going over film on those tablets as the defense works to get him the football back. Kyle Pitts is being taken off the field, although he is walking under his own power. He looks upset. He looks very frustrated, but I'm not entirely sure why they're taking their best player off the field. Matt Ryan, 366 career passes, or career TD passes, ties Eli Manning for 9th all time. And on 2nd down and 7, the Lions force a tackle for loss or a tackle for 0 gain on Mike Davis, and the Lions call their 2nd timeout. The Lions now are facing a 3rd and 7 as a defense, and if they can hold the Atlanta Falcons to a minimal gain on 3rd and 7, they're going to give their offense the ball back with 1 timeout. Nah, maybe not 1 timeout, but they're either going to get 1 timeout or the 2-minute possession or the 2-minute warning, which is probably more likely. I would guess that if the Atlanta Falcons if they don't complete a pass, then they'll get the 2-minute timeout, and they'll get a timeout of their own to use. And if they don't, if the Atlanta Falcons run the ball and they play conservative, then the 2-minute warning hits and the team gets another timeout. We'll see right here on 3rd and 7. I haven't seen anything happen yet, but we are going to find out right here, 3rd and 7. This is the biggest play. This is the play that will decide the game for the Detroit Lions. They're playing right at the sticks. They need to just keep everything in front of them. It looks like they're going to send a lot of pressure here, and they are. They're going 0 blitz, and the Lions are going to stop the Falcons. They're going to force a fumble, and Dean Marlowe is going to recover the fumble for the Detroit Lions, giving them possession back at the Arizona Cardinals, at the Atlanta Falcons 28-yard line. That is a big forced fumble by Jalen Reeves-Maybin. It looked like it was going to be a big pickup for the Atlanta Falcons. They threw a screen pass on a 0 blitz, got offensive linemen out there, and it looked like it was going to be a huge play and a game-ending play for the Atlanta Falcons. But Jalen Reeves-Maybin, fighting through blocks, fighting through the offensive lineman, made the tackle, and Will Harris came in, punched the football out before 14's knee hit the ground, and he won. Or actually, no, Jalen got that ball. That ball was out before Will Harris even made contact. Jalen Reeves-Maybin, while being tripped, while falling to the ground, punches the football out and gets the football back for the Detroit Lions. The Lions now sit at the Atlanta Falcons 33-yard line with 2 minutes left to go, and they are driving. Dagger Detroit says, now, Dan, show us what dagger time. Show us what the F is up with your team and why it's fun to watch. As Craig Reynolds on 1st down picks up 4 yards for the Lions, taking them to the 2-minute warning. Now, the only thing the Lions have to do here is score a touchdown. They haven't scored a touchdown they have scored 1 touchdown all game, but they haven't been good in the red zone all game. Their defense made a big play. Their defense got them the opportunity. The Lions have been good enough to run out the rest of this clock. They need to do that. They need a touchdown here. And the only question left for this team is, can they convert in the red zone? And can they get that big victory without their starting quarterback? Jared Goff is not playing. Your starting quarterback is not in. Your starting linebacker is not in. 2 of your captains are not playing today. And the Lions are now just 33 yards away and 2 minutes away from getting their 2nd victory, their 1st victory on the road, their 2nd victory in a row, and their 3rd victory on the season. Tim Boyle did not look good in his first start, but now has an opportunity to rectify that, has an opportunity to put the Detroit Lions in the end zone and to put the Detroit Lions back in the win column for back-to-back weeks. These games, I said it earlier, always come down to the wire. They always come down to the last play or one of the last plays right? Matt Prater a couple years ago hitting that game winner in London. Matthew Stafford hitting the game winner 2 years ago. You have obviously the Golden Tate in Detroit was marked down at the 1.5 yard line and had a 10-second runoff. Came down to the very, very last play. And it seems like that this game is coming down to the final play as well. The Atlanta Falcons are up by 4 points. The Lions have the football at the 33-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons in a 2nd and 6 situation with one timeout left after a 4-yard pickup by Josh Reynolds. They have the momentum. They have everything they need right now. All they need to do is for Josh Reynolds to score a touchdown. They need Tim Boyle to throw a touchdown. And, they need to run out the rest of this clock as well. Dr. Detroit says pound the rock. I'm not going to say the rest of it, but I agree with you. Pound the rock, run the football. You have your timeout. You have 2 minutes. You control the clock. The clock is now working against the Atlanta Falcons. Maybe you get a couple pass plays here and there, but do not put the ball in harm's way. Do not throw out that 50-50 ball. You either run the ball or you throw the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown on an option route where he's wide open. You don't put the ball in harm's way. You keep it. Right? Not that you play conservative here, but what you do is, you keep the ball out of harm's way. You cannot afford to have a turnover at this point in the game. The defense gave the offense the opportunity. Not only did they get the football back, they got it back in Atlanta Falcons territory with the momentum. They stole the football back, and now it's the offense's turn to come through for the defense, as Jalen Reeves-Maybin is right now the hero of the football game. And on 2nd and 6, Craig Reynolds gets another carry for 4 yards on the day, and he picks up not a first down, but gets incredibly close, gets a 3rd and 2 for the Detroit Lions after a hard-fought 4-yard carry. And if I'm the Lions, I've said it all day, you keep pounding the rock. You keep giving it to Craig Reynolds. It's 3rd and 2. I trust Craig Reynolds. I trust Jamal Williams that on 2 carries, they can pick up 2 yards apiece. Doesn't matter who gets the football. You run the ball, and you run the ball a lot. You have 1:30 left. You got to move a little faster than this. I don't like that they've wasted 30 seconds in the huddle, but at this point, if you're the Lions, you run the ball for a 3rd time in a row. You pick up the first down, or you trust Tim Boyle. You trust him to get the ball to Brock Wright for a 5-yard gain. There's a fight in New England. That's crazy. We'll have to go up and check the scores after this. Tim Boyle drops back on 3rd and 2, delivers a strike over the middle, and Brock Wright pushes ahead. And I believe is marked down at the Arizona Cardinals. I keep saying Arizona, I apologize. It's marked down at the Atlanta Falcons 24-yard line. The Lions are 24 yards away. And on first down, they get a big rush from Jamal Williams. An 8-yard rush taking them to the Atlanta Falcons 16-yard line with 41 seconds left to go. It's a draw play. They run the ball, and Jamal Williams fights forward. Now the Lions got to hurry up. They got to get their offense moving and get everybody up and in the huddle. I don't know. This is not quite the time to use that timeout, but they got to hurry up very, very quickly. The Atlanta Falcons actually end up using their first timeout and stop the clock for the Detroit Lions, so they do not have to. The Lions on 2nd and 2 now get an opportunity to talk this play over, to get a little bit of a breather, and to get the play that they want. At this point, the last 3 meetings have been decided on the very final play of the football game, which is absolutely crazy to think about between these two teams. Is, regardless, they're not even division foes. They're not division rivals. They just always seem to play each other incredibly close, whether they be, Super Bowl contenders or first round or first overall pick contenders. It doesn't matter. This team always seems to play the other incredibly close. And this game now, I don't know if it's going to be decided on the final play, but it is going to be decided here in the final minute on the final drive. If we can take off 20 more seconds, 15, 20 more seconds, as Tom Kennedy gets his 2nd reception on the season to convert and get 4th and goal for the Lions with 40 seconds left. The Lions, they trust Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle's throwing the rock. He's doing a good job. Tom Kennedy sat down at the Arizona Cardinals 9-yard line. They are just 9 yards away from a big touchdown. And I believe the Atlanta Falcons are going to take their 2nd timeout on the day. The clock is stopped. And I'm not sure who called the timeout. It was the Lions. They called their 3rd timeout and final timeout of the football game. They have no timeouts left. They are 9 yards away. You have time. You have 40 seconds to run the ball. If I'm the Lions, I'm throwing it here on first down. Take off a couple seconds. I don't want to put the ball in harm's way, but I'm thinking you get the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know what you do here because it's first and goal, 9 yards away. You've struggled in the red zone all day. The Falcons do have 2 timeouts, but they're not going to stop the clock for you, right? If it's not going to help them, they're not going to stop the clock. I think you have to throw the ball here. I really do. And as much as I think the Lions are going to be a good rushing attack, as well of a rushing attack as they've had this today, as good of a rushing attack as they've had today, I think you have to pass the football. I think you have to trust Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have to trust Josh Reynolds, and you have to trust Tim Boyle. Tim Boyle looks and throws an interception. Oh my gosh, that is so unfortunate. That is so unfortunate for the Detroit Lions. The defense makes the biggest play of the game, and with 9 yards to go, with 40 seconds left to go, Tim Boyle throws a pass straight to number 54 of the defense. And that right there is going to be the final play of the football game. I don't even think it was bad play calling, Dr. Detroit. It's just, right, so they snap the ball. That's not even bad play calling. Tim Boyle just threw a really poor football. And, I mean, there was a little bit of pressure, sure, but that was not bad play calling. That was poor execution by the Detroit Lions. That was poor execution by Tim Boyle. And unfortunately, the Lions are going to walk out with a loss. But again, they did cover the spread this week, so bettors are going to make some money. But unfortunately, that is the end of the football game. Final box score on the game, Tim Boyle, 24 of 34, 187 yards, 1 touchdown, and a heartbreaking interception at the end. Jack Fox, 1 for 1 for 21 on that trick play to extend the drive. Jamal Williams, 19 carries in his return for 77 yards, averaging 4.1 per carry. Craig Reynolds, not a great day, 11 carries, 29 yards, 2.6 yards per carry. St. Brown had 2 carries for 19 yards. And Khalif Raymond had 1 for 5. Amon-Ra once again led the Lions in receiving with 9 receptions for 91 yards and a touchdown. Josh Reynolds had 2 receptions for 36. Craig Reynolds had 3 for 22. And the rest of them had a couple receptions for minimal yardage as well. On the defense, Jalen Reeves may have been absolutely the defensive player of the game, led the team in tackles, forced the fumble at the end, had a pass defended as well. Ifiatu Malufanu played a good game. Will Harris played an okay game. Tracy Walker was quiet. Derek Barnes got, I believe, his first career sack. Charles Harris had a quiet day for the most part, had 1 tackle for loss, but didn't do a whole lot. Austin Bryant had his 2nd sack of the season, as did Aleem McNeil. The defense played well. Everybody played pretty well for the most part on this defense. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, Tim Boyle threw the game losing interception. But the Lions fought hard. They played their best, and they were incredibly close to pulling off another victory without some very key big time starters. So with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for watching. And until next time, and as always remember, go Lions.